the starting lineup. Batting first, the center fielder, Mickey Rivers. Batting second, the left fielder, Roy White. Batting third and catching, the captain of the Yankees, Thurman Munson. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Reggie Jackson.
Well, they call this guy Mr. October and the Autumn Child. And I'll tell you, wherever he goes, it's excitement. There he is, shaking hands with Thurman Munson. Reggie Jackson.
Batting fifth, the right fielder, Lou Piniella. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Greg Nettles. Batting seventh, the first baseman, Chris Chambliss. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Fred Stanley. Batting ninth, the shortstop, Bucky Dent. Warming up in the bullpen, pitcher Ed Figueroa. And the manager for the Yankees, Bob Lemon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the National League champions, your Los Angeles Dodgers.
As you can see, these Dodger fans love their Dodgers. The movie stars, the television stars, the guy that works 9 to 5, the guy that works the midnight shift, they all own the Dodgers, and they just will not stop applauding.
The trainers, Bill Bueller and Herb Veit. The coaches, number 26, Red Adams. Number 28, Preston Gomez. Number 45, Jim Lefebvre. Number 54, Monty Basgall. And in the bullpen, number 58, Mark Cressy. The Dodger non-starters, number 4, Bill North. Number 5, Johnny Oates. Number 9, Jerry Grody. Number 11, Manny Mota. Number 13, Joe Ferguson. Morrison. Number 20, Don Sutton. Number 23, Teddy Martinez. Number 31, Doug Rao. Number 33, Vic Davalio. Number 35, Bob Welch. Number 36, Rick Roden. Number 38, Lance Rotson. Number 46, Bert Hood. Number 49, Charlie Huff. Number 51, Terry Forster. The starting lineup. Batting first, the second baseman, the captain of the Dodgers, Davey Lopes.
This is the man that really does it. He gets it started, and more than any player I heard is dedicated this series to the memory of Jim Gilliam. There you see him making a play. Barehanded grab. He does it all.
Batting second, the shortstop, Bill Russell. Batting third, the right fielder, Reggie Smith. Batting fourth, the first baseman, Steve Garvey.
Now everybody knows this Captain Hick. What goes unnoticed, though, is, and it showed in the playoff series, he might have saved 4 errors against the Phillies. There's the power swing, pretty much a low ball hitter. Very popular in L.A., as you can see.
Batting fifth, the third baseman, Ron Cey. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Dusty Baker. The center fielder, Rick Mundy. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Lee Lacy. Batting ninth and catching, Steve Yeager. Warming up in the Dodger bullpen, pitcher Tommy John. Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda. Would you all please rise Jim Gilliam, to whom this World Series is dedicated. Thank you. And now to honor America, our national anthem will be sung by Tony Tennille.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Singing of the national anthem by Tony Tennille, and as you may have noticed, the flags at half-mast in memory of Jim Gilliam. Kurt,
Yes.
I see you got two friends, Kurt. This is Joe, and you're ready to talk to Campy and Nuke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the Dodger on-deck circle in front of the commissioner's box, where former Dodger catcher Roy Campanella will throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Roy is accompanied by former Dodger pitcher Don Newcomb.
Campy, you played in 5 Yankee-Dodger World Series. What's a Yankee-Dodger World Series mean to you?
Well, it was something else, and I've never played in any series against anyone like the Yankees, with the exception of the New York Giants. But in the 5 World Series, it was the most thrilling moment of my life.
What's your prediction on this series, Roy?
Well, definitely, I want the Dodgers to win, but it'll be a good series.
You had a pretty good man throwing to that catcher's mitt. Don Newcomb, you had trouble with the Yankees in the World Series.
Yes, I did, Jerry, yes.
All right, good. Congratulations. Thank you, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb. And let's get ready now for the first pitch of the 1978 World Series. And back up to Joe, Tony, and Tom.
All right, there's the Los Angeles Dodger defense. Dusty Baker in left, Rick Mundy in center, Reggie Smith in right, Ron Cey at third, Bill Russell at short, Davey Loeb from Anna makes the offense go at second base, Steve Garvey at first base, Steve Yeager the catcher, Tom Siebert, Tommy John on the mound.
little left-hander Tommy John with an outstanding sinker, very good control. You see a lot of ground balls, as I said before, and you see the hitters will be out in front as they're trying to make contact with this ball.
Tony, Tom, both you guys infielders, with a lot of ground balls coming up, do you think that the infield may have been doctored a bit to help Tommy?
I don't know, but an interesting thing that I heard Davey Loach say during the playoffs, he said he would rather have Tommy John pitch on the artificial surface as he did in Philadelphia because you get all good hops. This infield is not, well, it's a little rough to put it mildly, especially in the late innings here in Chavez Ravine.
It's not the best in the league, Tony, that's for sure. The players in our club, the infielders in our club, the Cincinnati Reds, don't particularly like it. It's very hard. The dirt portion of the infield is extremely hard, and you can get some bad hops coming off that overspin as it comes off the grass.
Do you worry much about that area in front of home plate? That's where the groundkeepers really like to work to keep it hard or soft. You worry about that, Tom?
Well, that's an area where you get a lot of high bounces out of it right in front of home plate. You get Davey Loach, so Bill Russell, they can get some infield hits. That's why it's put there.
Well, we're getting set. Game 1 of the 78 World Series, and Mickey Rivers will lead it off. 5'10", 162 pounds, and he can fly. We're going to have a ceremony here with the new baseball. They're going to throw out and save and send it to Cooperstown and to the commissioner. This new ball, usually it was just the National League ball signed by Chuck Feeney, the president, in the American League City. It was by Lee McPhail. Now they have a Bowie Kuhn baseball. Here's the first pitch. Curveball is a strike. Rivers is 29 years old, born in Miami, Florida, lives in Hackensack, loves to run, can run, and will run at all times. Strike 2. Rivers hit .265 on the regular season with 11 home runs. He was 5 for 11 in the championship series. And that's out of play.
You've got to believe that Mickey Rivers, with that bad leg, is not going to be much of a stolen base threat. In fact, he might not even buck. Same with Willie Randolph, who is not even activated for this roster for the World Series.
Curveball, all breaking balls. Rivers obviously a fastball hitter, so John is giving him nothing but breaking balls. And Yeager's making sure he keeps that ball down. There's a fastball, and there's a ground ball. And there's one out.
You're going to see a lot of those, Joe. A lot of ground balls off of this guy. Especially when he gets out ahead of you. You'll see the hitters way out in front, hitting the ball way out in front of the home plate, driving that ball into the ground.
Tell you, his last game, he allowed 4 hits, Tommy John did, all singles. He walked 2, and 21 of the 27 outs came on ground balls. There goes another baseball that they're going to be saving. So when you go to Cooperstown, you can pay a quarter to look at a 75th anniversary World Series ball. This is Roy White. Outside, ball 1. White, not a big guy, 171 pounds, 5'10", 34 years old. He is the elder statesman. Misses. Born in Los Angeles, now lives in Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. And as you watch White, he'll check his knuckles with the grip, and he'll check his feet like a guy taking his car into the garage. He's checking everything. The balls get scuffed up easily in this ballpark, Tom.
Well, they have a lot of clay out there in front of home plate, Joe. That area right in front of home plate is 96% clay. Balls hit down there.
I like guys that are specific. I don't like guys that say a lot of clay. 96%.
That's right.
Good pitch by Tommy John.
I know that because I did a study when I was graduating from the University of Southern California about the soil content of all the National League infield. So I did kind of pull that off the top of my head.
You put me on.
Not putting me on at all.
2 balls, 2 strikes outside. You did study Dodger Stadium?
Dodger Stadium in front of home plate, in front of second base, and all the National League infields.
There's Thurman Munson. He's the on-deck hitter. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball game just underway. Nobody on, 1 man out. Game 1 of the World Series.
An interesting point here, Joe, is to watch how Steve Yeager will try and direct Tommy John. He'll move down, he'll get that sign down, he'll get a signal.
There's a bouncy ball foul.
You get the catcher's glove and give Tommy John a target down in the strike zone, inside or outside.
Is he using his glove for the target? Is that what you're saying, throw to my glove?
Many times, and you can see that he's shifting a lot behind home plate.
Missed. Roy White is on with with the base on balls. And that brings up Thurman Munson.
Number 50.
Munson on the season at .297 with 6 home runs, 71 runs batted in. And Munson, a tough out. 31 years old, born in Akron, lives in Canton, Ohio, at Kent State University. And he can hit and run. He can handle a bat, hit it all over.
Late in the season, when Willie Randolph went out with a pulled muscle, Munson batted in the second spot at times, and many times with Rivers on. This time, of course, it's White. They send him on the first pitch. But that'll show up in scouting reports. The Dodgers know it.
Yeager has a fine arm. They'll not test it too much. There's a strike. In contrast to Munson, I think the Dodgers will be testing Munson.
Joe, there's no doubt that the Yankees' stolen base game is almost gone. With Rivers with a bad leg, Randolph out of the series, so they may hit and run a little more, trying to advance runners.
Bouncing ball, Lopes, one, Russell. Over the first, double play, turned it over, 4-6-3, and second base umpire John Kibler almost got hit. So, in the top half of the first inning, New York nothing, Dodgers coming to bat.
Well, so in the first inning off the bat of Munson, Tommy John does what Tom Seaver told you he's going to do. 3 double play outs. Right through the legs of John Kibler, the second base umpire.
It did go right through his legs.
If you wonder what would have happened had it hit Kibler, the ball would have been in play, but I don't think they'd have gotten a double play.
That was a great shot right there of Russell throwing that ball low. You can see Roy White really duck his head as he submarine him, which infielders use that as a defensive weapon. They have that base runner coming on, and they submarine you. You better get down in a hurry, Tom.
All right, there's the Yankee defense. Roy White's in left field, does not throw that well. Mickey Rivers with a bad leg, not too good of an arm, with 2 big outfields here and in Yankee Stadium to roam. Lupinella in right field. Greg Nettles at third base. Bucky Dent at short. Stanley filling in for Randolph, who will not be available for the series. Chris Chambliss at first, who almost missed the lineup with a bad hand today. Thurman Munson, the catcher. Eduardo Figueroa on the mound for the Yankees.
The hand is for Davey Lopes. Lopes hit .278, 17 home runs, 58 RBIs. In the championship series, he was one of the hot hitters, 7 for 18. He makes it go. A first ball hitter. Likes the ball up. And Figueroa's a sinker baller. Curveball. Ball 1. No score. Bottom of the first. It's playable. Tried to check his swing, and Chambliss makes the play, and there's 1 out. Lopes fouls to Chambliss.
There you can see the right hand of Chris Chambliss. We got no report, nor did the Yankee broadcasters who were here, what happened to the hand, but for a while he was going to be scratched from the starting lineup. Right hand and wrist taped heavily, as you can see. It's got to bother him swinging, I believe.
I was in the Yankee clubhouse for the game, Tony, and had that hand in ice and getting some treatment on it, and evidently it must have helped. He's in there.
This is Bill Russell, takes a curveball outside. Russell got the big base hit that drove in Ron Cey to win it for the Dodgers. He's 6 foot tall, this fellow, 175 pounds. A clutch hitter, according to the Dodger players. 2 balls and no strikes. 29 years old, born in Pittsburgh, Kansas, lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Right center field, coming in fast. Piniella can't get it. First hit of the game.
Well, let's see right off the bat if the Dodgers test out the arm of Thurman Munson. During September in the championship series, there were days when Thurman threw very well. But there were other days when the pain-killing drugs and shots he took in his shoulder helped not at all. He could not even reach second base. So they may want to find out early.
This is Reggie Smith. He'll have the gap between first and second, which may dictate a move. Smith is switch hitter. In fact, he says, you put my left-handed stance against the mirror, and you'll see my right-handed stance. More power from the left side. 6-footer, 195, 33 years old. Carl Reginald Smith. Russell draws a throw. They're trying to keep him close.
Joe, I feel Reggie is a much better hitter left-handed than he is right-handed. He's right-handed. He's very susceptible to off-speed pitches. Left-handed, he's got more power and hit for a better average.
That got a good cut at that one. In fact, Tom, he's got a line. He says, right-handed, I'm Clark Kent. Left-handed, I'm Superman.
He's not far wrong either. He is one of the tough outs in the National League. Tommy Lasorda has really done a fine job in getting this player to come along and do a great job for him.
High fly ball, right center field. Pinella looked at Rivers, and Stanley motions that it's up there, and Pinella makes the play. I don't believe Rivers and Pinella saw it.
What's happening, George, with a bad leg? Mickey Rivers ordinarily plays somewhat in a shallow center field. With the spaciousness out there and with a bad leg, I believe he's playing 10, 20 feet deeper to try and protect the ball from going over his head. And, of course, playing deeper with a weak arm, they're going to run if they have a chance.
See Mickey Rivers hobbling back. He always looks real tired going back, but running he can move. This is Steve Garvey. What could you say about this fella that hasn't been said? And the name of school after you, that's about it. That's the whole act. Stephen Patrick Garvey, 5'10", 190 pounds, and I mean it's packed into that body. Ball one. You take a look at those arms, strong forearms. You look at those arms and you just know that he eats spinach for breakfast.
Last time I pitched against him, went 3 for 3, and the last hit went about 400 feet.
Born in Tampa, Florida. Now, California, that was close. They almost had him. He was leaning, Tony.
Figueroa's got the kind of move to first base where some say he balks in the American League. In fact, Whitey Herzog, as we look at the play again, he was leaning. Whitey Herzog argued in the league championship game that he played that he moved his left shoulder and cocked that left knee toward home plate and then threw behind the runner.
Draws another throw. Garvey on the year, tremendous year. 316, 21 home runs, 113 runs batted in. Hit 389 in the championship series with 4 home runs. He's second to Parker, batting title race. There's the strike, a curveball. Ed Vargo booms it out. Over 200 base hits. Steve Garvey. He led the league in hits with 202. 1-1 pitch. Figueroa continues to loosen up as he plays catch with Chambliss.
Here's Figueroa at the motion to first base. Opened the left shoulder all right that time, didn't he, Tom?
He looked fine to me. A little hop, a little crow hop almost to first base.
High curveball. He gets it up there, Tom. He's going to be backing up third.
Well, like I said before, Joe, I think he's got to establish his curveball in the strike zone and down. I think he really does have to. The first hit was on a fastball, Billy Russell. 2 balls and no strikes, a base hit to right field. If he can't get his curveball over, I think the Dodgers are going to hurt his fastball.
There goes the runner. Garvey pulls it into left field, a base hit. Russell is heading for third. He'll make it. It's first and third with 2 men out.
Greg Nettles, the Yankee third baseman, has a signal with Bucky Dent as shortstop. When a breaking ball pitch is called, of course, the third baseman can't see it. Just as the ball was thrown, Nettles took about 3 steps to his right. With a hanging curveball, and look what happened. They hit it to Nettles' left, and the Dodgers have got something going.
I think the point is well taken, Tony, is that they got 2 hits in the inning now. We got first and third. The first hit was a 2-0 count to Bill Russell, and that was a 2-1 count. Ed Figueroa behind both of the hitters. Both times you got singles.
Ron says the batter is not getting his curveball over. Would you look for a fastball?
Yes.
Good. Now.
That's the way I hit when I go up there.
Russell's at third and Garvey's at first, and Ron Say with 270 on the season. The Penguin is the batter. 1 ball. High again. 2 balls and no strikes. There you see Bob Lemon. Say Lasorda looking on. Say's 30 years old, born in Tacoma, lives in Woodland Hills, California. Washington State University man. Third choice in the '68 draft. The Penguin. 2-0 pitch. High. Hey, would you turn him loose now, guys? You bet. Tom, if you were pitching, would you expect him to be hitting 3-0?
No question, I look for him to hit. 3-0, you got to pitch like it's a 2-2 count, a 1-2 count right here. You cannot give in to a hitter with this kind of power. Say he has tremendous power.
Took the fastball for strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Ronnie has a very good eye and will be very selective at the plate. He doesn't get the exact pitch that he's looking for in a situation 3-0 or 3-1. He'll just let that pitch go. He's still got him in the hole 3-1.
2 men out. Base runners at first and third. Fouled off. 3-2. 3-2. Well, I know managers preach that. Be selective. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Figueroa rubs up the baseball against Say. So selective that he led the Dodgers in walks in 1978 with 96. That was good for 5th in the National League. As we look at Russell at 3rd. Garvey is at first, 2 men out, 3-2. Right field, deep. Pinella's going back. Appears to have room near the wall and makes the catch. Lou Piniella up against the wall as Ron Cey made a bid for the extra base.
Piniella in a strange outfield makes this a real adventure. He looked out for the warning track. He doesn't know how many steps he's got. He tripped it back, and if he'd hit that wall a little sooner, the ball out of his glove. It was an invention.
And you got a good view of that great play by Piniella. Here's another view from our center field camera. He's feeling for that wall. His feet tell him he's close. And now he makes the play, a big play by Piniella, reminiscent of the game against the Red Sox. So that ends an exciting first inning. And the score, Yankees nothing, Dodgers nothing. Packed ballpark, loaded with excitement, as Reggie Jackson leads it off for the Yankees with no score. Reggie Jackson, 32 years old, 6 foot 208. Pretty good size. Born in Wyncote, Pennsylvania, lives in Oakland, attended Arizona State University. Homered in his last 4 official times at bat. In that 77 series, all on that first pitch. And will you ever forget that?
Reggie seems to know how to get reaction, positive or negative, but by taking so much time, he drew a few clues.
There's the strike on the outside corner. Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, the autumn child. He really gets hot about this time. Wherever he goes, it's supercharged atmosphere. Curveball is low. He's a good low ball hitter, so we're seeing strength against strength.
A place, Tom, I think, where you see scouting reports go out the window. The book on many of the American League teams is to pitch him high and tight.
2-1 pitch. Curveball misses. Now it's 3-1.
That certainly wouldn't be the case here, Tony. Tommy John is not a high inside pitcher. He doesn't throw hard enough to throw upstairs, and he's got to go with his strength, which is pitching down.
Fouled out of play. More arguments are caused by that in the mound, where pitchers say, well, I can't pitch a guy high and tight. It's a good pitcher who will admit that.
Tommy John made a comment yesterday during the workout to me I thought was interesting. He said, I get low ball hitters out better sometimes than high because they have a tendency to swing at bad low pitches.
Jackson just sends one right back up the middle, and Reggie Jackson is on with the single. So the Yankees have the leadoff man. And Jackson sends it right back. Tom, you must know this feeling when that ball comes back to you.
Well, that's all part of your trade, Joe. As you know, after you release that ball, you've got to be an infielder. There's no way that Tommy could field that ball. Reggie hit the ball too hard. But a pitcher can really help himself during the season if he can bunt and move a runner along and on the mound be able to feel his position well.
I tell you, it's 60 feet 6 inches from the mound to home plate, but by the time it's a follow-through, you're about 55 feet, so you're looking down the barrel of a cannon. Here is Lou Piniella, a steady hitter. Curveball is outside. Pinella's 35 years old. He just turned it on August 28th. Good-looking guy, I'll tell you that. 6'2", 200 pounds, born and lives in Tampa, Florida, and he can hit. Outside, ball 2 balls and no strikes. I'm Joe Garagiola with Tom Seaver and Tony Kupak. Game 1 of the 1978 World Series, and we got a beauty going already.
A lot of people I've talked to, Joe, said that this might be the toughest out. Lou Piniella might be the toughest out on the team.
He goes to right field. Reggie Smith is there. He's got a good arm. Jackson is tagging up. Will he challenge him? No, he won't.
The best throwing arm of either of these two outfielders are getting rid of the ball on accuracy. Jackson has a strong arm too, but he can't be very erratic with it. And Reggie is very proud of this throwing arm and likes to show it off as he just does.
I think maybe Reggie Jackson wanted to see it too, to put on a little show for the fans. That's an outstanding throw.
I'll tell you, a throw like that by Reggie Smith, as you look at him with his mustache off, and when he shaved it off, by the way, Johnny Oates, his teammate, didn't recognize him for 3 days. Steve Garvey walked by, and his little daughters kept feeling around to see if the mustache would grow.
Last part of the season, a virus struck some of the members of the Dodgers, and he was very weak in Reggie Smith, and I think his average showed it.
This is Greg Nettles. He fouls off a curveball out of play, strike one. Nettles, Mr. Puff. He's the guy who starts things and then disappears, according to the players. Wry sense of humor. Who says, what little boy doesn't want to join the circus and be a major league player? Just think how lucky I am. I did both. He is with the circus soap opera Yankees, but they win. Moves him back. 1 ball, 1 strike, no score, top of the second.
He really does have a dry sense of humor. I've known Greg for a long time, about 15 years. We played in Alaska together. And he is a dead fastball hitter, and he can hit it a long way, too.
That's a strike. I can't let that one get away. Alaska, how long does the season last? Just 6 months with the sun?
Well, that's a summer college league. You go up there, play a little baseball. One game we start at 11:30 at night, called the Midnight Sun Game up in Fairbanks, Alaska. Rick Mundy was on our team, too. We've got some ex-Alaska Go-Fanners here.
Hey, we find out a lot about you, Seaver. You checked the dirt while you were in school and played in Alaska. There goes Jackson. Garvey, it is a fair ball. Steps on the bag. Jackson really had a jump.
I don't think John expected him to go. Reggie stole 14 bases during the course of the year. The regular season was caught 11 times. But I've got to believe, knowing Reggie, that with Randolph out, Rivers' leg hurt, he may try to take it in his own hands and steal some bases in this series.
It brings up Chris Chambliss with 2 men out, no score. We're in the top of the second. This is the silent man of this ball club. He just goes out and does the job. 29 years old. Born in Dayton, Ohio, lives in Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. Another big guy, 6'1", 213 pounds. He began in the Cleveland organization, came over in a big train and walked into a clubhouse and must have felt like a deep freeze. Ball one. They really gave him the cold shoulder because a lot of popular guys were in that deal, but he just went out and did his job and won respect with his glove and his bat. Tommy John, 2 outs. Jackson at second. Good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tommy John with a bionic arm. An operation which I'm sure you've heard about. Low. But for those of you that may not know about it, we have some new viewers. We look into sorta. He ruptured a ligament in his left elbow and he didn't pitch until the 76 season. He hurt that in 74. Chambliss takes it low. He underwent surgery and a tendon from his right forearm was used in reconstruction of his left elbow. And Tommy simply says it was like a kink in the garden hose. There was no force at the nozzle and they had to give me force. Off the handle, left field, could be trouble. Coming hard is Baker. That ball drops foul. That ball was trouble all the way. That's got to be a helpless feeling, Tom, to sit there and watch that ball and you start to blow it foul.
Well, you know, in that situation, nobody's going to get to it. You just hope that it does just drift foul.
Jackson hustling all the way. You see him heading back to second. He would have scored easily.
So I recall having Tommy John, as we look at Stanley on deck for the Yankees, after he had the surgery on his elbow, he apparently had some nerve damage, and it did something to controlling the thumb on his left hand. And his sinker ball actually got better because he had to adjust the position of the thumb on the sinker.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hot smash. Russell has it at short. There's the throw. Garvey hauls it in. That ends the second inning for the Yankees. So as we go into the bottom half of the second, it is New York nothing, Los Angeles nothing. Monday will be coming up for the Dodgers lead lane scene. This game, I'm sure making notes, getting ready for that special. Tell you what a list he's got. Glenn Campbell, he tries to sign him as a ball player in one of his sketches. You saw the date, October 15th, Sunday. If you forget the date, just remember it's the night of the 5th game. The Bob Hope Comedy Specialist salute in the 75th anniversary of the World Series as Dusty Baker leads it off here. Dusty, who likes to say, I'm going to scald one. He doesn't hit him, he scalds him. There's a good pitch. 29 years old, Dusty Baker. Riverside, California, lives in Woodland Hills. Figueroa. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Both of these ball clubs, from the 3 through the number 7 hitters in the lineup, have a lot of power. Then you throw in the bat of Lacey, in the 8th spot for the Dodgers. Figueroa will throw 2 kinds of fastballs. He'll sink one across with the seams, hold it across the seams, and he'll ride it a little bit.
That's well hit. That ball is really, as you say, ridden. White jumps. Dodgers lead 1-0.
It was a 1-2 pitch, Tony. As you can see, Ed Figueroa got ahead of this hitters. Dusty Baker, who was behind the hitters in the first inning. No question when he left the bat. And that's a guy, really. Roy White's got a shot at the ball, possibly. Nope, over the fence. Dusty Baker was not swinging the bat well at the end of the season.
Here's Roy White, who has stolen a lot of home runs just like this in Yankee Stadium, but not this time.
Rick Monday, the batter, 2 balls and no strikes. With that great shot we had from center field, tremendous coverage of Roy White. You can see him try to push the wall back. He just ran out of room, or he'd have made that play. That's an out in Yankee Stadium. That's out of play. That's his 2nd World Series home run for Dusty Baker. He had one in the '77 series. And during the season, he had 11 home runs, 262 average.
There's the shortstop, Chicken Stanley. Make that second baseman, Stanley.
Foul ball, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dodgers have taken the lead. A home run by Dusty Baker at jam-packed ballpark. Game number 1 of the World Series between 2 big rivals, the Dodgers and the Yankees. Monday takes it high, 3-2. Monday, born in Batesville, Arkansas, lives in Scottsdale. He's a neighbor of mine. As we looked at Lee Lacey, the designated hitter. Line drive, center field. Rivers got a bad jump, doesn't make the play. Monday's going to have himself extra bases. There he goes in the 2nd.
That'll give you an idea of what we're telling you about, how they're going to take all the chances they can on the bases, especially against Rivers. He did not get a good jump at all. In fact, he was frozen in his spot until the ball was well out over the infield. And a nice try once he got going, but Monday kept on going. Monday made it a double right out of the batter's box. He never stopped running down the first.
You know, Tony, it looked like Rivers got his glove on the ball before it hit the grass, but he just couldn't hang on to it. And I think you're exactly right. I think the Dodgers are going to be extremely aggressive on this New York Yankee outfield.
The best arm in this outfield belongs to Lou Piniella, and that's an adequate arm. As we look at Lee Lacey, outside, ball 1 for the first time. They're using a the first time National League designated hitter, and this is what Lacey is. You see his statistics for 78, 30 years old. Born in Longview, Texas, lives in Calabasas, California. Lee Lacey fouls it off, out of play. This guy was a tremendous reserve player. In fact, he came up with the name the Splendid Splint. When they got in trouble, he went in. This is the 2nd time they've used a designated hitter. I just want to make that point, Tony.
Dreesen was the one that was used by Cincinnati a couple of years ago, but Lee Lacey, it's 5 home runs pinch hitting, 1 short of the record. So he has power. He's been lifting weights and has gotten up to about 190 pounds. He really is driving the ball now.
Curveball misses. Dodgers lead, a home run by Baker. Lucini.
Scoreboard left starts the chant. It was Willicott Lemon. Lasorda.
Curveball misses. The scoreboard lights up here, lead, and the crowd picks up the chant. Everything done on the cue. Listen. That is a big message board. 3 balls and 1 strike. Walking. So we have a base runner at first. We have a base runner at second. It brings up Steve Yeager. Here comes Bob Lemon. He wants to talk to his pitcher. The last game for Figueroa, he started game 2 in the championship series, and he lost at 10-4 at Kansas City. He was removed from the game. Nobody out in the second. He had given up 5 runs, 3 earned, 5 base hits.
Lemon immediately turns to the catcher Munson before he even talked to Figueroa. And I've got to believe, Tom, and you can answer this better than I, that he was asking what kind of stuff he had.
I don't think there's any question about that either, Tony. One thing that Eddie Figueroa is doing, I think that looks like Ken Clay down in the Yankee bullpen. One thing that Figueroa is doing, you go back to the first inning, he was 1-0 on Davey Lopes, 2-0 on Billy Russell, 2-1 on Steve Garvey, 2-0 on Say. He came to the second inning, 2-0 on Mundy and 3-1 on Lacey. He's getting behind the hitters. And a guy that is not a power pitcher, and Ed Figueroa is certainly not a power pitcher, cannot get behind the hitters. If you do, you're going to get in trouble.
Just sit back and sit on a particular pitch.
You can be extremely selective.
Most of these Dodgers are just that. They're a very disciplined bunch of hitters. They adjust to situations. You can't pitch them all the same way. You've got to move the ball around, and they're going to make you throw strikes.
Yeager, they're looking for a bunt. I wouldn't be surprised. Chambliss will be the man that'll try to make him feel the bunt. Goes down the first base line. The book says you've bunted hard enough past the pitcher so the third baseman has to feel it. But Chambliss, with Mundy at second and Lacey at first, Chambliss is in. Chambliss doesn't like the throw.
Well, he's got that bandage on that right arm, too. You don't know if he can throw up here, Joe.
You got to test him, and that's what they're going to do. It's 1-0, a home run by Baker. Dodgers out in front. 1-strike pitch. Here's a quick throw to second. What a play by Bucky Dent. The ball sails to the shortstop side.
Bucky Dent was a little slow coming. He did not want to vacate his position. He made a good play as he was blocked out by Mundy just to save Mundy from going to third base. Here's another look from center field.
Rick Mundy, of course, looking for the bunt play, trying to get down to third base with 1 out. And I'd say that Bucky Dent made a fine play. Kept that ball from going into center field, and that would have advanced the runners.
Been like a single. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Strike is called. Yeager doesn't believe it.
Well, you got to figure out if he called it because he went after it, did not get his bat back in time, did not appear it was in the strike zone. So the home plate umpire, Ed Fargo, might have said he went fired up. Yes, did he? It's a tough call any way you look at it, Tom. It is a tough call.
Depends if you're a hitter or a pitcher. I think it was a strike.
Well, I think if I were hitting that, I'd have did with Yeager. I think it was 2 balls and 1 strike.
And argued, right?
1-2 pitch now. Outside, Munson backhands it like a first baseman, something he does well. In fact, he did it against Kansas City and was able to get Willie Wilson going into third. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lacey's at first, Mundy's at second, 1-0 Dodgers lead. We're in the second inning, a home run by Dusty Baker. The 2-2 pitch. This could be a double play. Dent, 1 over to first. It is. And what a collision we had at second base. Lacey really did a number on Fred Stanley. But they got to double play. 6-4-3. Mundy moves on over to third.
This is the time when a shortstop or second baseman in this case does not like it because that runner out first, who run on first and second, has a good walking lead. Not hit too hard. Watch Lacey. Perfectly legal good slide, but he did take Stanley out.
You're going to see it second base. Yeah, that's a fine, good, clean second base play. It's a good slide, no high spikes, good hard slide. That's good hard baseball, Tony.
You bet.
with 2 outs. Here is Davey Lopes. Hits the first pitch deep to left field. Roy White going back, all the way back. This ball is out of here. 3-0 Dodgers.
The little captain of the Dodgers, Davey Lopes. 3 runs in the inning, and there's about 55,000 people in here that are pretty happy right now, including some Dodgers.
And give a little credit to Lee Lacy, because when he came in hard, he upset Stanley just enough. Here's White. He finds the fence. Second home run in a row that has just barely made it. White went as far as he could go, but the Dodgers get a couple more. Look at Nettles. His reaction, emotion in World Series play. You got it right, Greg. It's a home run.
Greg Nettles is a realist as Bob Lemon comes in. We're going to have a pitching change by the Yankees. We've got a break in the action. The Dodgers are leading 3-0. Don't you go away. We're going to be right back. First pitch. They're jumping on that first pitch. Pops it up. Bucky Dent taking charge, makes the play. That ends the inning. But the Dodgers have a good inning at the end of 2. It is the Los Angeles Dodgers 3, a home run by Baker, a home run by Lopes. It's 3-0. Dodgers over the Yankees, and coming up for the Yankees, Stanley, Dent, and Rivers. We move into the top half of the 3rd inning. Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, and Kurt Gowdy all here at Dodger Stadium, where the Dodgers have taken a 3-0 lead on the home runs of Dusty Baker to lead off that 2nd inning, and then that Monday double, a walk to Lacy, a double play by Yeager, but then Lopes hit a home run over the left field fence, and the Dodgers, with Tommy John on the mound, lead 3-0. Tommy John, who says he likes to throw ground balls, has done just that. He talks about his pitching in very simple terms. He says, challenge him and hope it's your day. It's no time to get brilliant.
Batting eighth.
I gotta like that.
Second baseman.
He's done a good job of it for the last few years, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you how good a job. Pete Rose, I think, said it best. He said, I know they grafted a new arm on him, but did they have to graft Sandy Koufax's old arm? That's the kind of pitcher he's been. Here's Fred Stanley, who has replaced Willie Randolph, will not play in this series. Stanley takes it low, ball 1. Randolph pulled hamstring, will not play. Brian Doyle and Stanley will have to fill in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, the Yankees are going to miss Randolph because he got a lot of bases on ball and led the club. He could steal a base. At great range. Stanley will do the job defensively, but offensively, he's no Willie Randolph.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Did he go around? Yes, they say no, says Bill Haller. Ed Clark of the National League is the umpire behind the plate. That's Bill Haller, who is at first base. John Kippers at second base. Let's look at that pitch. What do you think?
As a hitter,
Sinker ball was low. Well, Seaver is a pitcher.
He hit that, and they've gone all the way to Pasadena. What do you mean?
Here's the 3-2 pitch. That ball well hit. Nobody's going to get this one. It'll be extra bases, a fastball, and Stanley really tattoos it. He's got himself a double. Stanley. He didn't do much during the regular season, didn't get much of a chance to play. His average 219, 1 home run. That was a grand slammer.
Monday was shifted over to right center field on Stanley, playing him to hit late. Tommy John got the ball up a little bit, and Stanley pulled it.
He wasn't going to walk him. He was going to throw a strike, and Stanley hits his way on to second base. Here is Bucky Dent. Foul for strike 1. Bucky's 26 years old, born in Savannah, now lives in North Miami Beach, Florida. He attended Miami-Dade North Community College. He got that big blast against the Red Sox, Tony, that'll be forgotten. Sure, like Bernie Carbo's and Hal Smith and World Series when Mazeroski hit it.
The one that gets you back in the game. They always forget.
Tries to hit to the right side. Tommy John, underhand toss to Garvey, moves the runner over. There's one away.
Tom, I can think of not many other pitchers in baseball that get hitters to swing at as many bad pitches. That sinker ball, and it also tails away so much. Sometimes it's 6 inches off the plate or down around your ankles. The Phillies were swinging at a lot of those kinds of pitches against John in the championship series.
Most of the teams in the National League would do the exact same thing, Tony. He has an uncanny knack of getting those hitters to fish for that pitch that looks like it's going to be in the strike zone, and by the time you go after it, it's down there around your ankles.
Do guys move up on the plate a little bit? Did your guys, any of them move
They
up?
try everything, Joe. They try to move up. They try to get a heavier bat. They get a lighter bat.
Rivers, one hopper to Russell. Stanley holds, out at first. What do you think, Tony? They were back.
They were giving him the run, but it was hit so hard, Stanley had a thought of going in, but one hop to Russell. Russell gave him a glance, looked him back, and he had no chance to go. Russell has a good arm, and had Stanley gone, it would have been quite a challenge at home plate. Here it is from center field. Rivers going the other way. It's it very hard. Look at Russell. Give him a little glance back. Stanley got frozen at third base.
Tell you, I don't think he could have made it.
Nope.
As hard as that ball was hit, Stanley made the right play by staying there. It's outside. Roy White. Tommy John, 7 of the first 8 outs, ground balls, so the grub worms will not sleep around home plate tonight. There's another one off the end of the bat. Yeager.
There's Rivers' line drive. Here's a situation. You've got one out. The runner cannot go until he knows the ball is going to hit the ground. The shortstop will not catch the ball in the air. If he goes off, he's got a chance of having a double play. He's got to stay at third base.
That was a great isolate. Stanley looked like he'd gotten a book of dance tickets and didn't know what to do with them. He missed a few dances on that one. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Curveball misses, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs. The Dodgers are out in front, 3-0. Roy White's the batter. He walked his first time up, but then was rubbed out in a double play. Good pitch by Tommy John. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And a pretty bad swing because the ball broke so much right at the end. There's Stanley. Hauser, the third base coach, who's going to coach down in Florida State next year, taking Woody Woodward's place, leaving the Yankees.
2-2 pitch.
Good sinker.
Struck him out. A good sinker. That's the first strikeout by Tommy John. That ends the inning. So we go into the bottom half of the third, and for the Dodgers, Reggie Smith, Steve Garvey, and Ron Cey will be the Dodgers hitters. The score, 3-0, Los Angeles. First to pitch, though, by Clayton Smith. It is a strike. Listen to this. Glenn Campbell, Charo, Steve Martin at Wild and Crazy Guy. Jim Henson's Muppets. Piggy and Kermit will be there. Cheryl Teagues, Billy Martin, Howard Cosell, Johnny Bench, Vida Blue, Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax, Tommy Davis, Mickey Mantle, and many, many more stars who made baseball and the World Series a big, big part of America. That's October 15th, Sunday. What a pitch by Clay, and Reggie Smith doesn't believe it, but he heard it. It's a strikeout.
They tell me the routine that Glenn Campbell and Bob Hope did, where Hope as a scout discovers Campbell in the mountains or somewhere in the hills, is a real piece of work.
Garvey singled his first time up. Don Rickles, who is always here, he's an honorary Dodger coach, calls this guy Mr. Clean. Garvey hits the first pitch, pops it up, and it's out of play. In fact, Rickles does a number on all of them. He says Garvey's the only first baseman to wash his glove. Strong man. He's got a compact swing. Full foul.
For as powerful as he is, he doesn't strike out that much. As much as he drives the ball, he's 70 times, but he doesn't walk either. 40 walks only.
Tom, they keep talking about him as a good 2-strike hitter. Fooled on that pitch. Bucky Dell have to make the play. Got him.
I think one reason they say that, Joe, is that Steve is very disciplined, and he'll take the ball to right field. You know, he'll give up the home run. He'll take the ball to right field. You'll see him here. He's behind in the count. Didn't have a good swing. Wanted to check the swing, really. Bucky Dent made a fine play. Got him by about half a step.
Pretty hard curve that Clay showed right there. Here comes Dent. Garvey hustles all the way. Dent gets the ball caught in the webbing of his glove. Does finally get it out, and Garvey came very close to beating it out on Hustle.
Ron Cey, the batter. Ball one. Clay pitched in 2 games in 1977. He received the save in game 1 of the playoffs this year. Curveball, breaking ball, fouled out of play. 1978, Ken Clay won 3, lost 4. As you can see, tall, rangy kid, 6 foot 4 pounds, 24 years old, born and lives in Lynchburg, Virginia. Look at him grip that ball, Tom. 2 balls and 1 strike. Could you tell what that was?
Fastball, righty fastball. Try to get the ball up and in on Ronnie Cey. He's got a good righty fastball. Try to sink the ball once in a while. A so-so curve and a very good slider. Art Fowler, pitching coach of the Yankees, thinks this young fellow is going to be a fine pitcher someday.
Cary Grant. They all show up here. He's a big Yankee fan, a personal friend of George Steinbrenner's. He's obviously rooting the Yankees, but his team is trailing by 3. 3-0. Ron Cey draws the base on ball. First walk given up by Clay, who replaced Figueroa. So Cey is on.
Left fielder, Dusty Baker.
Cey not much of a base stealing threat. 2 stolen bases, 7 attempts, and Dusty Baker hit a home run is the batter. He scalded one all right. He hit a home run in that 2nd inning, and then Lopes hit one with a man on, and it's 3-0. Outside, ball 1. You notice that little patch on the left arm of the Dodgers, number 19, in memory of great Dodger coach Jim Gilliam, who passed away on Sunday. This whole series dedicated to Jim. Low, 2 balls, no strikes. There's the 19 on that left sleeve. Dusty Baker, one of the players you saw in the visit with Kurt before the game, talking about Gilliam. There's a fastball, and he had to be looking for that low inside fastball, because he was very selective on that. He was ahead of the pitcher. Bouncing ball. Nettles has it. He's going to go to second. Horse is on. That ends the inning. So it's still a 3-0 score. The Yankees in the 4th inning will have Thurman Munson to lead it off, followed by Reggie Jackson and then Lou Piniella. So as we go into the 4th and the 3, Dodgers 3, Yankees nothing. And we'll be right back after these messages. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kupak, Tom Seaver, and Kurt Gowdy here at Dodger Stadium, and it's a 3-0 ball game. These Dodgers jumped out to that lead on a home run by Dusty Baker in the 2nd inning to lead it off, and then Rick Monday doubled. Here's our view. The fellow with the coat on and the shiny head. That's me. We'll turn around. Okay, our creepy snuck in on us.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Mom.
Well, we're happy.
My mom won't even come down and watch us tomorrow.
If these aren't the best seats in the house, I don't know who's got them, right? Can't enjoy this.
The creepy is right behind us. A shot of Tommy John. A 2-run homer by Davey Lopes. In that 2nd inning, made it 3-0. That's how we stand. And here is Thurman Munson, who hit into a double play. First ball, fastball hitter, Thurman Munson. Curveball, it's a strike. Tommy John, 35 years old. Boy, you talk about an athlete. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. He graduated from Gerstmeyer High in Terre Haute in 1961. He lettered in baseball, basketball, track, cross country, received 35 basketball scholarship offers, and he ranked 1st scholastically in his graduating class of 207 students. Tommy John. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Boy, wouldn't it be something to be the smartest kid in class that could play and you to start a basketball team?
Be all neighborhood and everything else, too.
2-1 pitch. Munson fouls it off.
John through the first 3 innings, the 9, well, he's faced more than 9 hitters, but he's got 7 ground ball outs out of a possible 9, really, getting through the 3 innings.
Steven Jackson's base hit, ground ball up the middle.
Munson out on strikes. He took something off that ball.
That was an excellent shot, Tom, from a center field camera of the movement on Tommy John's fastball as it tailed away.
So Munson heads back, brings up Reggie Jackson, but let's take a look at that pitch.
You don't see Munson strike out. You know, in the National League, we don't see him very much, but Munson doesn't strike out that much. Outstanding pitch. That ball had a lot of great movement away from Thurman Munson.
Here is Reggie Jackson, who has one of the 2 hits. The other one was a double by Stanley. Jackson, as you heard Tom Seaver mention, hit that ball up the middle, a ground ball. Moves him back. Fastball, ball 1. They have swung around, played Jackson the pull.
That was just to keep Reggie honest. Move him off the plate. You got to believe you got to go right downstairs or away again. There from our camera in left center field is what Dusty Baker is seeing as you look right in on Reggie Jackson. That's the camera got the reaction shot on Carlton Fisk of the 75 series.
Off the handle, say at the shortstop spot, makes the play. He was way over there, and Jackson is out. He jammed him.
He really had saved, moved around, and almost kind of a deep shortstop he was playing. Reggie doesn't get to this ball, hits it late. On the ground, another ground ball, as we talked about before. Ronnie Say way over, almost in the shortstop position, got Jackson easily.
He also showed why he's a pretty good pitcher, because he adjusted from the first time Reggie was up, and he did throw him 3 pitches on the inside part of the plate, tried to get him up and in.
Here is Lou Piniella, who fly deep to right field his first time up. He went with the pitch. Ball 1. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. 2 balls, no strikes. There's a strike.
Lou's standing up there looking like, hey, fella, you're going to have to throw me a strike. I'm not going to swing the ball out of the strike zone. He looks like he's being extremely selective.
It's outside. Tom, now Yeager's down low, obviously, for the sinker and throwing for the glove. Did you use that same method? Some pitchers don't like that.
I don't like the catcher moving around, Joe. I like the catcher to sit right behind home plate. If he wants to move his glove at the last moment, that'd be all right.
Ground ball. Russell to Garvey. It's a 1-2-3 inning, 4th inning. The Yankees go down. 2 up for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the 4th inning. We've got Rick Monday, the designated hitter Lee Lacy, and Steve Yeager. As we go into the bottom of the 4th, 3-0 Dodgers. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning here at Dodger Stadium. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Los Angeles. No runs, only 2 hits and no errors for the Yankees. Tommy John all the way. Ed Figueroa started for the Yankees, replaced by Ken Clay. Rick Monday, who doubled in the 2nd inning, came around to score. And a home run by Lopes leads it off here in the bottom of the 4th. And there is Yogi Berra. 75 World Series games as a player. This is his 20th series as a player. 14 as a manager, as a player, 2 as a manager. The sign pretty well says it all. I know guys that haven't played 75 games in a career. He said if he'd have known they were going to win that much, he wouldn't have taken all rings. Yogi, loved by all. Popped up straight back out of play. Monday had a good cut at that press ball. Sounds like he was, or looked like he was guessing as he sounds as he landed up here. Would you consider him a guess hitter, Tom?
He'll set on a pitch once in a while, Joe. He is a fastball hitter. Many of these Dodgers are fastball hitters, and they're very good if they get ahead of you.
He moved moved him back. He didn't like that first cut, and so Ken Clay delivers a commercial that if you keep swinging like that, I'll be back with that inside pitch.
He gave Munson a little tap on the chest with a bat, too. Did you see that? He's trying to go up and in, as you can see, Tony, but if down and in, Thurman gave him the target up and in.
And another good cut. Game 2 tomorrow night. We'll be right here, and the pitchers happy hooting for the Dodgers against Catfish Hunter. Game 2.
Thurman Munson playing with a bad shoulder separation partially. Got it when he was out in the outfield. But he showed in the championship series when he threw out Willie Wilson on a controversial play at third base that he can still throw on occasion. He's battled through a lot of injuries this year. He just wants to stay in the lineup.
1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know that shot you just saw Munson isolated where he was just looking down. It's funny how I kind of related to that because many times you just stare at the dirt like it's supposed to talk back to you. It's outside, 3-2. You're just almost lost in the world of your own. Infielders get that way, Tony?
All the time. Depends who's pitching. You get a guy's ball 3, 3-1, 3-2, fouled off. Oh my goodness, put you to sleep.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. He walked in. Monday draws a base on balls. That's the second walk given up by Ken Clay. Designated hitter Lee Lacy. Lacy walked his first time up. That was off Figueroa.
The play that will not show up in the scorebook is the one he made on the hard slide in the second base that may have thrown Stanley off just a little bit trying to complete the double play. Didn't get much on the throw, and the home run came right after it.
Monday at first. There he goes. Hit deep to center field. Rivers is there. He'll make the play, and Monday will hit back to first. They played hit and run, and Lacy drove that ball hard to center field.
Catcher, Steve.
1 out.
Yeager.
Dodgers 3, Yankees nothing. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Yeager hitting a double play his first time up. Championship series, Yeager had 1 home run, drove in 2. He was 3 for 13. Went around, strike 1. Ed Vargo, the National League, behind the plate. Rick Mundy's at first base. The man in the Yankee dugout with the bat is Paul Blair.
Bucky Dent, nice play, second base.
Over.
Nobody gets it. Everybody is safe. Heading for third is Monday.
And the crowd reacts as Chambliss almost had to get a stick and beat that thing. It was really alive.
Bucky has to throw off balance, has to throw hurriedly. He rights himself, opens up too soon when he threw, bounced the ball. Stanley tried to block it, get the force out, but the ball gets by him. So an error will probably be charged on Bucky Dent. Here's another angle from center field. He went quite a ways. So Yeager, a lot of teams play Yeager way over the hole, don't they, Tom?
Playing to pull a lot. Rick Monday taking off for third base. Here he is coming to second. Bucky Dent almost made a super play. A great catch, and they used to say in high school, a great catch and a $1 million catch and a 10-cent throw. The Dodgers end up with runners on first and third, 1 out. Davey Lopes up.
It was an error on the shortstop Bucky Dent, and the delay was because Fred Stanley took the ball, it came off his thumb, and he took some warm-up tosses with Greg Nettles. Now we're all set. 1 man out, base runners at first and third. Lopes with the first pitch his last time up for a 2-run homer, the batter. He takes it low, ball 1. Lopes with Monday at third, Yeager at first. Davey hit a home run in '77 World Series, and he's hit 1 tonight. Hit 17 in 1978. That's his National League high. Added 2 more home runs in the championship series, so he's had quite a year with home runs. The crowd chanting Lopes, Lopes. Tough man to double.
It's surprising power this year, Joe. Quite a few home runs, and he can hit the ball out of any part of this ballpark.
There goes one deep to left center field. It's another one.
second home run, and he has really been moved with the loss of Jim Gilliam. He and Jim Gilliam were extremely close, and he, as you can see by his reaction, he really wants this World Series.
Lope showed some power a few years ago also. He had a 3-home run day in Wrigley Field, Chicago. Hit what looked like a good sinking fastball down around the knees. They want him to come out. Russell is going to tag up on Monday. What a crowd reaction. They want Davey to come out and the dugout steps. And he did.
So the Dodgers lead 6-0. Here is Bill Russell. The pitch is outside. Ball one. Davey Lopes has driven in 5 runs. 2 home runs. Bouncing ball up the middle. It's into center field. It's a base hit for Russell. And Kurt Gowdy was in the session telling us about his hero. He's picked one, and Kurt, you may have a good one in Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, he'd be my nomination maybe for the World Series hero for the Dodgers. I was going to pick Mickey Rivers because, see, many times it's not the big stars who end up as the outstanding player of the World Series. But right now, Davey Lopes certainly has a head start. Okay, Joe.
Line drive by Reggie Smith. Chambliss got a glove on it, took a base hit away from him. Russell moves to second base. There are 2 outs. Certainly a good point you made, Kurt, that it isn't always the big hero. Tom, you had a guy with the Mets that certainly wasn't the big man and ended up the big hero.
He certainly did in 1969 against the Baltimore Orioles. It was Don Clendenin, but the little guy that really did a great job for us, Al Weiss.
So Russell, Kurt Gowdy's pick for the hero in the World Series, is on at second base. There are 2 outs. 3 runs are in here in the 4th. And the Dodgers lead 6-0 as Davey Lopes has gone on a rampage. 2 home runs. And Steve Garvey, who singled to left in the 1st inning and bounced out short the 1st and the 3rd. Swings and misses. He had a good cut. He was going for downtown.
Threw him a breaking ball there on the first pitch, and I'm telling you, Kenny Clay is going to have to get something over beside that fastball into the strike zone, a breaking ball, a slider or something, or the Dodgers are going to jump all over his fastball.
Another breaking ball. It's a quick 2 strikes. In the bullpen, Paul Lindblad starts to heat up for the Yankees.
Sparky Lyle's down there somewhere, Tony.
Well, he's been the forgotten man, hasn't he?
Oh, he is buried in the bullpen.
So it's a strikeout for Clay. That ends the inning, but it's a good one for the Dodgers on a 3-run homer by Lopes, and the Yankees will send up Greg Nettles to lead it off, Chambliss and Fred Stanley. But as we complete 4, 6-0, Dodgers over the Yankees. We're giving their reaction to this sad loss. That Davey Lopes said, I can't think of the game of baseball without thinking of Jim Gilliam, and I'm dedicating this series to him. And you just wonder, with that intangible, how big it's been, because Davey Lopes is certainly playing like an inspired player. 6-0. Dodgers lead. And Tony, it's you.
Nettles, Chambliss, and Stanley face Tommy John. He's walked 1, struck out 2. There again, the 19 blazoned in black on the arms of every Dodger player. A tribute to Jim Gilliam. 2 balls, no strikes to Greg Nettles. Tommy John still getting a lot of ground balls. Slow curveball, 2 balls, 1 strike. John started out with the White Sox. He always had the good sinker, but he's improved his control of it and added that good curveball. Hit hard. Garvey cannot find the handle at first, but he'll take it unassisted. 1 out.
First baseman, Chris
Garvey, a sure fielder, he just cannot find that handle, as you said, Tony. The ball almost seems to be breathing, but he makes the play easily. Almost has to grin himself as you look at him.
So with 1 out in the 5th, it's Chris Chambliss who grounded out to short his first time up. Chambliss does not try to pull the ball a whole lot. He actually hit higher average-wise against left-handed pitchers than right. He gets jammed, but it might be trouble. Baker's got it. 2 outs.
As a catcher, I used to always worry about a big lead with pitchers because they rely mostly on the fastball. They want to walk anybody. Did your thinking change at all when you had a big lead?
It never did, Joe. I tell you, I learned very early, 1968, my second season, when a wonderful man who was on that Dodger team with Jim Gilliam, Gil Hodges, came over and was my manager. And we had a big talk about that one day, about you should pitch every game as if it's 1-0 or 1-1 or whatever. Forget about the score. Forget about how many runs you're ahead. Your job is to pitch and limit the opposition to as few runs as possible. And I benefited from that little talk that Gil and I had for 11 years now. One of the biggest lessons I ever learned in the big leagues about pitching with a lead.
Got your few Cy Young Award along the way, too. 2 balls, no strikes on Stanley with 2 out. The Dodgers lead 6-0. We're in the 5th. 2 and 1. 2 outs.
One thing that's important here, Tony, first man up, Nettles took the first couple of pitches. Chambliss took the first pitch. And now Stanley has taken the first couple of pitches, and he's run the count to 3-1. I think they're getting an understanding on the Yankee bench of what they're going to have to do to get to Tommy John. That's to make him bring the ball up in the strike zone and don't hit at those balls, swing at the balls that are down low out of the strike zone. You saw that ball 4 as Stanley walked, the ball down low out of the strike zone.
Second walk of the ball game allowed by Tommy John. Bring up dead. The Yankees, with Randolph out for the series, are strapped with just one other spare infielder aside from first base. Spencer's there, of course, but they've just got Brian Doyle. Of course, Paul Blair has played some second base. So with 2 out, it's Dent. Don't take too many chances down there at first base or any base with Steve Yeager behind home plate. Garvey is playing behind to protect the hole. Another good sinker. 0-2 to Bucky Dent.
With the score of 6-0, Tony, as you and Joe have made point many times on NBC's Game of the Week, as you look at Steve Yeager, when a team jumps way out in front, 3-0, 4-0, 6-0, now you take a lot of the offense away from the opposition. They can't steal, they can't hit and run. They've got to sit back, hopefully get 2 or 3 runs in an inning, a big inning, to get back in the ball game.
Just want to make note, on behalf of all the catchers, thank the man who invented that flap that Yeager has. It hangs down as we look at Stanley. It's to protect your Adam's apple. When you get hit there, brother, you don't go to choir practice.
So now the count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs on Bucky Dent. 6-0, but we talked about the power. There is the little thing to protect the throat on Yeager, designed by Bill Mueller at Yeager. Little chopper is going to have to hurry. Say goes to Lope for the force out on Stanley, so the Yankees go down, and they're after the 5th. We'll go to the left for the 5th with the score. 6-0, the Dodgers over the Yankees. Ron Seydoux up for the Dodgers. Dusty Baker. And there's Rick Monday. Dusty Baker, Rick Monday. Ken Clay, the second Yankee pitcher. He relieved Ed Figueroa. 6-0, but the Dodgers, with the power that they have through the middle of their lineup, have the capability of coming back. But you've always got to worry about Terry Forster down to that bullpen for the Dodgers, who shuts teams off in the 8th and 9th. There's Gossage, the man for the Yankees, who does the same job on the other side of the field. Look out. Breaking ball that he may have tried to overthrow, and the ball got away from him. 2 balls and no strikes on Say. There's a young man, Ken Clay, who came and did a good relief job in the championship series against Kansas City. He will be looking for something inside he can throw, but he went after the pitch away. A sinker. Nettles bare hands it, but he doesn't get the handle. So Say will be on. Tough chance for Greg Nettles, who was playing deep for Say.
Nettles only had really one chance to barehand that ball. It doesn't take what you would call a true hop. Couldn't find the handle, and then that's it. Say is on.
Base hit. Dusty Baker. who got the Dodgers on the board in the second inning when he led off with a home run. Lopes already has 2 home runs also. One ball on Baker. Ed Fargo, the home plate umpire. You tell me what that meant, Tom. You don't know either.
You got me.
They said as Sale's on the move. Sale going to third base on the hit and run. It's first and third for the Dodgers. There is no one out.
Ronnie Say going off at first base. Not really a base-stealing threat, but he runs well for a guy with really an unorthodox type of running. They call him the Penguin here in Los Angeles. An outstanding player, good defensive third baseman, fine power.
Had great coverage of that Say going from first to third, because you could see him find the ball off the bat and then found the outfielder to see just exactly where he was. And when you follow the Penguin from first to third, you know why they call him the Penguin.
A good shot also in the same picture of the third base coach Preston Gomez trying to help Say out if he needed it. So it's a first and third situation for the Dodgers. Monday's up. He's at a double. He's walked. And now the ball gets by from him. Munson Say scores for the 7th run for the Dodgers. 7-0. And Dusty Baker goes into second base. Wild pitch. Charge to Clay.
Munson usually backhands the ball. Let's take a good look at it. It's one of those 55-foot curveballs. He tries to backhand, he just doesn't get it. It's not what you would call a classic block, which I'm a bit surprised, because with somebody at third base, you try to block him and keep that ball in front of you. There's the shot where he watched the ball go off the bat, and then you saw him look at that outfielder, so he knew exactly where that ball was at all times, which is the sign of a good base runner. Tony Bob Lemon's coming out, and just to answer your question with Munson's flashes, where I think what they may be using is, forget the fingers, it's a number of times you see a flash. If you flash, let's say fastball, curveball, changeup, and you flash 3 times, that's what a pitcher does. Fastball, curveball, changeup. It's a rhythmic thing.
Regardless of the number of fingers you put down. Could be 3 ones in a row, or 1, 2, 1, but it's still 3 flashes.
It's the flashes that you see.
So Lemons made the call. There's Lasorda in the dugout for the Dodgers with a comfortable 7-0 lead. Paul Lindblad was the man who started walking into the bullpen. He replaced Clay, the third Yankee pitcher. The score here in Dodger Stadium in the last of the 5th with nobody out. 7-0. The Dodgers lead over the Yankees. A shot from way up high on top of Dodger Stadium in Chavez Ravine. Looking down very picturesquely. You wonder why a man designed a baseball field that way. So precise. Paul Lindblad. His 26th appearance. He did that in the regular season. He had 1 game start. At one time, Paul threw fairly hard. Now he tries to move the ball in, up and down. Little curveball, slider. 7-0. The Dodgers lead over the Yankees. Baker's down at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rick Monday. There's Dusty. A power barrage by the Los Angeles Dodgers. 3 home runs, 2 by Lopes, 1 by Dusty Baker. That is something that at times, with a 7-0 lead, the opposition might get mad at you. Lee Lacy, the designated hitter on deck. Monday trying to pull the ball, not to sacrifice the runner to the third base, but just get him over.
And what does the opposition do?
Well, they get mad.
If they get mad enough, pitches start coming up near the helmet area. They didn't get mad enough.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Rick Monday. Monday has double, scored a run, and he's also walked and scored a run. Dusty Baker was at a home run in this ball game. He singled. He went to second base on the wild pitch from Ken Clay. Dodgers have homered in 6 games in a row against the Yankees. Since missing that first game, 1977 series. So New York won 4-3 in 12 innings.
away from the side, but he goes 3-2 with a breaking pitch.
Tommy John, the way he's pitching, control only 2 base hits. He's got the Yankees really looking flat, like they're almost playing underwater. And they're moving slowly. I'm sure the thing's going to come up. Has it run out for him? Have they played too hard to get here?
Lindblad gets Monday on a 3-2 pitch. There's 1 out. Bring up the DH Lee Lacy. You wonder, they have maintained that high level for so long, Joe and Tom.
Lee Lacy.
That's a 3-2 pitch from Paul Lindblad. Rick Lundy probably sitting on a fastball. Looked like a breaking ball that was down out of the strike zone, of course. Strike 3.
Lee Lacy.
I know that pride comes into it, you want to win, but maybe some of the guys thinking, hey, the tough thing was to get here. We're going to get a pretty good cut of dough if we finish second.
No way. No way. Not with the Munsons, the Jacksons, and the other people on this ball club, the real professionals. One of the breaks or bad breaks the Yankees got, as we look at Yeager on deck, and Kurt Gowdy referred to it in the opening of the show, that Guidry could not open the first game. One of the reasons Tommy John pitched the first game instead of, say, a Bert Hooton is because Tom Lasorda wants to see a left-hander 3 times against the Yankees. That'll be John if it goes 7 games. The Yankees with 4 left-handed hitters in their lineup. But the Yankees have done the impossible many times this season, as we indicated to you earlier. Came from 14 games down. Had a win in a playoff game up in Fenway Park. Lacy hits this one high in the air to left field. Roy White, Mickey Rivers. Rivers takes it. 2 outs. Bring up Steve Yeager.
Catcher, Steve.
Joe, I don't think the Yankees are really down at all. I think the aspect of this game is that Ed Figueroa came out, was getting behind all his hitters, many of his hitters. Kenny Clay came in, did much the same thing, and the Dodgers sitting on fastball and blowing out a great big lead. Tommy John for the Dodgers going up there doing what he does well every time he goes to the mound. Keeps the ball down in the strike zone, gets a lot of ground balls. A consistent Dodger game. That's the kind of game they play. They can good pitching at you, and they can run some runs up on that board very quickly.
With 2 outs, 1 ball on Yeager. Lasorda next to him with the glasses, Monty Basgall. Coincidentally, had a lot to do with this Dodger team being put together because he converted Lopes and Russell from the outfield infielders. He's the man also who worked very hard, Monty Basgall, with Garvey at first base when he changed him from third base. 1-1, 2 outs. 7-0, the Dodgers lead over the Yankees. We're in the last of the 5th. Center field with Mickey Rivers right in his track. He's got the hard line drive for the 3rd out in the inning. So after 5 here at Dodger Stadium, a big lead by the Los Angeles Ball Club over the Yankees. 7-0, 2 up for the Yankees. It's Rivers, Roy White, and Thurman Munson. Well, they just made the announcement here at Dodger Stadium. The attendance, 55,997, an all-time record in this ballpark. As Joe told you earlier, they drew over 3 million people during the regular season. An enthusiastic crowd. They're here tonight, and if they are all Dodger fans, which I'm sure they are all not, they've seen the Dodgers jump off to a 7-0 lead over the Yankees. Ron Guidry, the man who, if not for that playoff game up in Fenway, might be starting here tonight. And Tom, it might be that he'll get only 2 starts, maybe 1. You never know how long the series is going to go.
You don't know what the pitching rotation really is going to be. I would think he'd probably have to pitch on Friday, and then he pitch the last game on Wednesday. And you might see these 2 pitchers right here going for the last game. Go Motor, California license plate. Tommy John and Ronnie Guidry may be, if this thing does go to 7 games, be matched up in the final game.
Rivers, White, Munson. Say in close at third base. Looked like he tried to hit it by him.
Tommy John the kind of a pitcher that he doesn't overpower you. You don't hear that ball popping into the glove, that the hitters will come back to the bench and say he doesn't have anything.
The word is nothing. He got nothing. And they'll scream it on the bench, and You know, it's, I guess, like I've heard you say on the air, comfortable collar, comfortable over 4.
He doesn't squeeze you with that 0 for 4. He just puts a nice fit on you.
Just frustrates you.
That's
Come
right.
back and you kick the water cooler.
The thing about Tommy John, a veteran pitcher, been very successful. He is not going to let himself get out of the groove like a younger pitcher might. Chop, Rivers, let's see if he runs. He lets up about halfway down as Tommy John throws him out for the first out of the 6th.
That was a good example of how much in front the Yankee hitters are on Tommy John. I mean, Mickey Rivers was way out in front of that ball, bouncing straight down almost into the ground, an easy out for Tommy John.
And see what kind of fielder Tommy John is. Roy White. He's walked, he's struck out. Yankees with just 2 base hits off Tommy John to this point. Jackson single in the 2nd inning leading it off. Stanley double leading off the 3rd. 1 strike on White. 1-1. Bob Lemon, whose club is going to have to come back a long ways. Yogi next to him, and that is Willie Randolph standing in the back. I'm sure a very unhappy Willie Randolph.
And that motion that Yogi made, Tom, I think is exactly what you were saying. You got to get him to get the ball up. You know, 2 Italians can make the whole sentence without talking, just using their hands. This one up, get the ball up.
Well, he's that type of pitcher, Joe. I mean, you walk up and you hit against Tommy John, and the ball comes up to home plate, and you know it's not going to get by you. And the ball looks good. You look like you can drive the ball hard. And then you commit yourself to swing, go after the ball, and it's like the bottom drops out of it, and it's not there anymore, and you pound it right in the ground. There it is. Perfect example of it. The hitters come back and they say, yeah, I see the ball well. I feel like I'm striving. I feel like I can drive the ball. And when they go to make contact, boom, the ball's not there.
You might compare him to the Yankees' catfish hunter, because that's what hitters say when they come back when they face catfish. Give me another chance at him, you get that big 0 for 4. 3 balls, 2 strikes on White with 1 out. 7-0. The Dodgers with a big lead. We're in the 6th. He got it. Another good sinking, tailing fastball from Tommy John. 2 outs, and it'll bring up Munson.
And if you want to hear more about Tommy John, the Today Show is going to do a interview with Tommy John, the bionic arm of Tommy John. And this morning, our director, Harry Coyle, was a featured performer on the Today Show. Harry, who's been a veteran of these World Series games, as we look at Bill Russell.
Quite a star. You've mentioned a big part of it with the surgery on the left elbow of Tommy John as he faces Munson. Another bad pitch swung at by the Yankees. Say, Garvey, 3 up, 3 down for the Yankees. Tommy John does it again. We'll go to the last of the 6th. The score, the Dodgers 7, the Yankees nothing. Coming up with 2 home runs, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, Reggie Smith for the Dodgers in the last of the 6th. Dave Lopes is leading off the 6th for the Dodgers. He already has back-to-back home runs. He gets a nice ovation. A tribute to the little guy who sparks this attack. And here's the pitch he did it on the last one.
Low fastball, Tony. As I said, just before he hit that home run, he can hit the ball out of any part of this ballpark. The home run he hit out here last year in the World Series, dead center field. And he's got good power to right field, right center, and pull the ball into those seats in left field.
Al and Davey Lopes, the board now says 5 RBIs, is 1 away from all-time series record set by the Yankees. Bobby Richardson in 1960. Bobby, an unlikely man to do that, but he had some kind of game. Last player to have 5 RBIs in a game was the Yankees' Reggie Jackson last year. You better hurry, Bucky. He just got him at first base. 1 out. So they retire Lopes after 2 consecutive home runs.
Shortstop, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. Russell 2 for 3, a couple of singles. Paul Lindblad, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Russell, the kind of guy, I've got to believe that if he weren't hitting in the number 2 spots, where hitting behind Lopes most of the time, he has to take a lot of pitches, give Davey a chance to run. He might have that average up to 300 if he could hit when he was ahead on the count instead of having to take so many pitches. Good handler of the bat. You can see it by that stat right there.
One strike on Russell. Like he tried to turn something over, a little straight change. 1-1. Showed you all kinds of devices, aside from rosin bags these days, and leaded pipes and bats, etc. A power swing device that some of the Dodgers are using. Russell, the fly ball near the warning track. Roy White's got it for the second out of the inning.
It's supposed to a lot of resistance, and it makes you follow through. I'd love to have that in the batter's box.
I need about that much hitting service when I go to the plate too.
Reggie Smith. Here you can see some of the paraphernalia used by hitters. Used to be dirt. There's the heavy bat. There's the lead pipes. Pine tar rag.
Hey, now wait a minute, Joey. Look at all that stuff they give the hitters. Pitchers can't do anything on the mound.
Pitchers have belt buckles, grease.
We can't go to our left. You guys got pine tar. You got rosin. You got pine tar. You got batting gimmicks. You got donuts to put on there. You got lead bats.
I'll tell you. Hitter needs all the help he can get against you Cy Young Award winners. Reggie Smith with 2 outs. Dodgers lead 7-0. We're in the last of the 6th. Tommy John has handcuffed the Yankee hitters on just 2 hits. Count now from Lindblad to Smith. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reggie Smith might be typical of a lot of switch hitters. Mickey Mantle I can think of, Pete Rose, Jimmy Lefebvre, who's coaching first base in place of Jim Gillian. Hit hard, but Rivers goes back. Talk about that later as the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. 6 are gone here in Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The score, Los Angeles 7, the New York Yankees nothing. And there are the hitters coming up for the Yankees in the 7th. Jackson, Piniella, and Nettles. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
9 hits and no errors for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits and 1 error for the New York Yankees. Shot with our creepy camera. Tommy John has been in complete control. To be perfectly honest about it, the Yankees in these 6 innings has been like watching a silent movie. There hasn't been much noise.
Reggie Jackson.
Tommy John has averaged 2.2 walks per 9 innings this season. He has walked 2, he has struck out 3, and he's thrown nothing but ground balls. Only 2 hits. A double by Stanley, a single by Jackson, who leads it off. He's allowed only 4 hits. There you saw the stat. 4 hits, and I missed the rest of it in the championship series. The thing was up and over so fast I couldn't read it. Reggie Jackson, hold it up there, guys. I want to read it. Hit 310, 286, 450 in his previous series. Sounds like a Dow Jones average. Reggie. Ball 2. You can get in trouble getting behind him. He would love to put the power to 1. He had a good cut and pulled it foul. 2 balls and 1 strike.
What he'd like to do, Joe, is trying to get a Yankee rally started here. They need base runners. They really don't need home runs at this time. Tommy John, really one of the stingiest guys in the National League for giving up home runs. 1978, he allowed only 11 home runs and 213 innings pitched. That's an average of 1 every 19 1/3 innings.
Reggie getting set. Whoops. Yeager gave John a low outside. John didn't like it. Let's see what they do here. Simple fastball. 3-1. You really need a big blast is what you need to get something going, to shake up the bat rack. There it goes. He really sat on it, and that's what he wanted to do, and he hasn't reached first base yet. He just now touches it. It's going to take him 20 minutes to make a round trip. Reggie Jackson going home run all the way. And watch Reggie. There's a smile before the game, but as he hits the ball, as he heads for the dugout, he knew that one was gone when he touched it off.
I don't don't think I know any other player that likes to stand at home plate and enjoy his home runs the way that Reggie Jackson does. He's got such a big, powerful swing, and every time he hits them, he knows they're gone. Now watch this. He says, I'll stand and watch this for a while. Isn't that a thing of beauty right there?
You won't find too many balls that will go that far out in that part of the ballpark. That was a tape measure home run.
Reggie Jackson tries to get his ball club going. Piniella lines one down the right field line, but is curving foul. Reggie says one of the sad parts is that he can't watch himself play. But when he hits the home run, yeah, he enjoys it. Listen, when you can do it, you might as well say it. Tommy John went into this game with a 17-inning scoreless streak, but Reggie Jackson just ended it, 23. One ball, one strike.
Ooh, that looked like a strike to me. That'd be a pitcher strike if I could get that one.
That's outside. Pitchers think anything is thrown is a strike. There's Reggie's. To the left of him is Clyde King, Chris Chambliss. Base hit. That ball was up.
So the Yankees look like they're swinging the bats a little bit better. John Nowsy got a ball up, and the bullpen for the Dodgers has begun a little activity.
Sometimes it takes a big blast like Reggie Jackson's to get those termites out of that bat rack. And Piniella is on at first. And the batter is Nettles, who bounced out unassisted to Garvey in the second and again in the fifth. Curveball is the strike. Jackson, that was his 8th series home run. Mickey Mantle is the all-time leader with 18. Garvey plays behind to cut down the hole between first and second. Nettles a good cut. He was going for downtown. 2 strikes.
Yankees, excuse me, Joe, Yankees, especially late in the season, saw a lot of left-handed pitchers, but they really don't do too badly against them. In fact, they had a streak at one time where I think it was 8 or 9 consecutive left-handers were thrown against them. They were 51-32 versus left-handers, and that's not too bad. The reason they get a lot of left-handers thrown is because of the 4 left-handers in the lineup, of course.
Whoops, almost got Nettles. He moved back.
Tony, I think the primary reason that you see Tommy John opening this season here, the World Series instead of Bert Hooton, is the National League umpire behind the plate, Ed Vargo. Tommy, obviously a low ball pitcher. If he waited and had an American League umpire tomorrow night, he wouldn't get many low pitches. I think that was the determining factor. As you see Greg Nettles strike out on the curveball, the determining factor was that the National League umpire was behind the plate for this opening game. Here it is. You see Nettles swinging at the curveball, missing again for out number 1 in the 7th inning. Way out in front of that ball. Bad swing.
He really bailed out on that one time. There you see Ed Vargo behind the plate, adjusting the mask.
He's one of the outstanding umpires, too, Joe, in the National League. A very good umpire.
Quick throw by Yeager. That was an ad-lib play. Garvey made a double tag and thought he had him. Bill Haller says, no, I don't think so. Gene Michael comes in just to kind of listen. Piniella gets the lead. He sneaks behind him. It's really ad-lib. It was not a set play.
One thing about Yeager, he has so much confidence in his throwing arm. He won't just throw when his club's way ahead. He'll throw in the 9th inning. The score is tied.
Off the handle. Lopes goes to... Whoops! Bad play. Tony, there was no reason for making that play. That was careless.
Right, he had to get this to show because he was not going to get a double play. The ball was chopped so slowly. But Davey, in his anxiety to get the double play, flipped it a little bit offline. Russell was going a little to his left. He was stationed right the inside part of the bag to give Lopes a good target. But not too good of a toss by Davey. There it is. Russell tries to barehand it, but they get no one.
That's strictly a mental play there, Tony. They're up 7-1. They need another out in this inning. He's either going to stop and get the out at second or go ahead and even throw to first. Get the second out of the inning.
There's the strike. One strike to count. Fred Stanley with a tremendous double. Takes it outside. Ball 1. That was just a careless play. They've got a big lead, 7-1 by 6, and Lopes has to make sure of getting one. And Russell just kind of thought he'd make a bare hand grab, so I can't give him A for effort, either one of them. Stanley gets on. They really got the merry-go-round going. 2 balls, 1 strike. Boy, I know many times on the bench you hear it. Bloop, base on balls. Somebody pops one. Here we are again.
It's called a bloop and a blast, and that can get you back in a lot of ball games.
Lou Piniella is at second base. Chris Chambliss is at first base. We've got 1 man out. 7-1. Dodgers lead. We're in the 7th. It's lined on the right field line. Foul. Stanley took a shot.
Tony, I got a question for you. Now, had Willie Randolph been eligible for here, would he be hitting in this situation, or would they move him up to the second position?
Willie Randolph would have been in the second position. Stanley would not have been in the lineup.
Right.
So not what it was, yeah.
So if Randolph were able to play, you might be looking at Roy White here, possibly, right?
Could be.
Instead of Fred Stanley.
Could be. Bob Lemon adjusts his lineup an awful lot during the course of the year, according to who's pitching.
Say's going to go to first. Gets his man, but the runners advance. So they're 2 away. Chambliss is on at second. Piniella has moved on over to third. Home run by Jackson has given the Yankees a run. It's 7-1. Bucky Dent is the batter. Game 2 tomorrow night. Catfish Hunter for the Yankees, and it'll be Happy Hooten and his knuckle curved for the Los Angeles Dodgers. 8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be here, and we're looking for you. Ball 1.
Right now, Davey Lopes is pulling for Tommy John to get him out of the hole. Now, he set up a situation here where the Yankees have men at second and third, a base hit. Yankees are back 7-3 in this ball game in the 7th inning. They'd still have the 8th and 9th inning to go. If he'd have gotten that second out, and then the third out by Ronnie Say, they'd be out of the inning. As it is, Tommy John is still pitching. He's behind in the count 2-1 to Bucky Dent, and he's got runners in scoring position, 1 at second and 1 at third.
2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. There's a base hit. Here comes 1 run in. Here comes Chambliss. The throw's coming to the plate, but it is not in time. It's 7-3 as Bucky Dent drives in 2 big runs.
There are the 2 Yankees who just crossed home plate to make it 7-3. And Tommy John is getting a few more balls up in the strike zone this inning than he did in the first innings. He got that one up to Bucky Dent. It cost him 2 runs.
I know Tommy's very upset with himself. You could see his face before we went to the replay of that throw to home plate by Dusty Baker. He is very upset. He's gotten a couple balls up in this inning. A play he should be in on the bench, sitting there with a 7-1 lead. He's still out pitching.
Rivers hits one off the fist. Garvey will take it himself. Steps on the bag. That ends the inning, but the Yankees dent the scoreboard as they come up with 3 runs. A big blast by Reggie Jackson to open it a home run. And for the Dodgers in that lucky 7th inning, it'll be Garvey. Say and Baker, it's 7-3 Dodgers. Paul Lindblad against Garvey, Say, and Baker. Paul Blair has gone in to play center field for the Yankees, replacing Mickey Rivers. And he can go get him. Garvey fouls it off, strike 1. You know what I remember most about Lindblad? I was walking in doing our game of the week, Tony, in Cleveland. And he's out there in shorts with one of those metal detectors and said he found $8.65 in coins from a rock concert. That's a real left-hander for you. Garvey hits it off the handle. It's going to be tough. Everybody chases it. Nobody gets it. So Garvey is on. And behind the plate, Kurt Gowdy has been down there. And Kurt, I'm just curious, how about Tommy John? Does he still look like he's got the same kind of stuff?
Despite that 3-run inning, Joe, he does. I'm very low behind home plate. His pitches are still moving. The ball is sinking. And over there in the Yankee dugout, we've got one of the great sinker ball pitchers of all time, Bob Lemon. I wonder what he's telling his hitters. But very definitely, Tommy Johns has movement on his pitches, and I think it was a little bad luck hitting for him, but we'll watch and see what happens in the next inning.
Good report, good vantage point. Gives us a better picture as Ron Say takes it high for ball 1 from Paul Lindblad. 7-3, the Dodgers are leading. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Home run by Dusty Baker, a 2-run homer by Lopes, and a 3-run homer by Lopes, and a home run by Jackson. Say had a good cut at that one. Does the ball carry good in this ballpark, Tom? How for hitters? You got some big gunners over in Cincinnati.
I tell you, when I first came in the league 12 years ago, this was a tough ballpark to hit in. The ball carries fairly well here. It's a lot shorter now than it used to be.
You're chuckling because
maybe I don't throw as hard as I used to.
You remember what this guy did to you the last time you faced him, don't you? Is that why you're saying that?
Last time I faced this little fella here at Dodger Stadium, before he pops up there to Mickey Stanley, I threw him a high curveball. He hit it section 13-12 out there behind that 370 mark. And the next time he hit a high fastball out there. 2 home runs.
Dusty Baker hit a home run in that second inning, and it was some blast. Let's take a look at it as he walks up there. He says he skulls him.
Nickname given to him by Rick Monday, who nicknamed him Dr. Skull. Second inning.
That's well hit.
That's the first run.
As you say, Rick White Dodger lead 1-0.
That was in the second inning, and he really touched it off. He takes it outside for ball 1. Dusty Baker, homered in the second, hit into a force play and single in the 5th. Right center field, base hit. Heading for third is Garvey. The throw is not in time. It's high, and Baker takes the base. A bad play by Piniella as far as the throw. He scoops it up nicely, but his throw missed the cutoff man that cost him a base.
You don't violate the fundamentals of baseball against a team like the Dodgers as Piniella barehands it. He overthrows the cutoff man, and he takes the double play situation right away as Baker keeps on going into second base.
I can't believe that, Tony. I mean, that's an amazing thing that he's pulled off there. I disagree with that kind of play. If he misses that ball, he's got a chance for both those runners, Baker and Garvey, to score. Bob Lemon can't be very happy at this moment, that's for sure.
Billy North will be the pinch hitter for Rick Monday. You know, there are all kinds of baseball sayings, but they say that the good team on offense stays away from the double play by hitting and running and hitting the right field, and on defense they keep the double play in order, and that's what Piniella did not do. He made a daring play, a spectacular play by barehanding it, and then lost everything by overthrowing the cutoff man and taking the double play situation away. And Billy North is up to now as Lasorda continues to chew, and as all ball players do, and I think they're doing more than they ever did, spit. Boy, y'all never saw so much in my life. 7-3. Dodgers threaten. The infield comes in. Billy North pinch hitting for Rick Monday. Curveball is low. Ball 1.
North will probably be starting as we look at Garvey and Baker, the 2 men on base. There's the infield in, but North starts against some left-handed pitchers, plays center field. He's coming in this time, of course. The defense late in the inning. He was one of the men on that, well, great Oakland A's ball club. They won 3 consecutive World Championships. In fact, I asked him about a comparison. He said, well, the one thing we had over with the A's that the Dodgers haven't had here since I've been here is that killer instinct, that they're sure showing a killer instinct today.
Slow. The ball, too. I have to snicker, too.
Yeah.
Is it in the clubhouse or on the field?
Both, I think.
Because I remember Reggie Jackson once said he shook hands with Billy North and got punched for it, so he didn't know whether he was going to say hello or smack you. 2 balls and no strikes. 7-3 ball game. Dodgers threatening, and they lead. High bouncing ball, base hit. Here comes Garvey. Baker's rounding third. He's going to score. Heading for second. North, and it is not in time.
A break as on the hard turf for the infield in over the head of Greg Nettles. 2 runs driven home by North, and what a job of hustling he did on Roy White right here as he kept on going, and he showed the kind of speed he has. There an awful lot, 99% would not have gotten a double on that, but that'll also show you what the Dodgers are going to do to the Yankee outfielders. They're going to run on them.
The only guy they won't run on is in center field right now, Paul Blair. Everybody else is just open season. It's the 440. It's a foul ball. ball down the left field line. Marty Springstead, the umpire down there. In fact, let's give the rundown of the umpires. Vargo, we told you behind the plate. Bill Haller, the American League at first. John Kibler, the National Leagues at second base. Marty Springstead is at third. The American League. Frank Pulley is in left field line, and Joe Brinkman is down the right field line. The one strike pitch, way inside. Lacy walked in the second inning. He flied to center and he flied to left. The Dodgers really taking charge as we look at the Yankee bullpen. Dick Tidrow loosening up with Elston Howard standing there. That's a foul ball. What do you think this does to the Yankees, this kind of a commercial, Tony? I mean, the Dodgers have just gone in and pounded them.
Not really a whole lot. Not the way they've shown the capacity all season long. You, of course, never want to get pounded like they have. A few of the pitchers are getting more work. There's Fowler next to Lemon, to the right of him, also Reggie. But they've had adversity all year long and have had to come back from a big deficit.
Here comes North.
The Yankee ball club, as North gets the big hand, is a very experienced ball club. Both clubs are, and they will shake this off if the score continues to go as it is and come back tomorrow swinging the bats. Lemon's out one more time out of the dugout, maybe coming to get Paul Lindblad.
That's a long walk for a manager, and he's already indicating he wants Tidrow. Tom, Sparky Anderson told us that you had a signal when you were pitching, that if you held the ball a certain way, it meant, I think I still got it. How'd that go?
Well, Sparky would talk to me, and if I felt like I was running out of stuff on the mound, I'd just look over at him and make some eye contact with him. I very rarely look at the dugout when I'm pitching. So I look over, get some eye contact with him, and I'd say, I feel like I'm running out of gas, come out here and get me out of here before I hurt somebody, you know.
You know, Bob Lemon, being a pitcher, understands all this, and it was a smile he had on his face, and I've been out there like months and many, many times. Sometimes a manager in a game like this will come out and say, look, I'm going to get you some help. Your wife will appreciate it, and we'll get some of the married men off the infield. We've got a pitching change here. The score is 10-3, and while we've got this pitching change, we'll pause for the anytime. Sometimes a manager in a game like this will come out and say, look, I'm going to get you some help. Your wife will appreciate it, and we'll get some of the married men off the infield. We've got a pitching change here. The score is 10-3, and while we've got this pitching change, we'll pause for these messages, and we'll be right back if I can say it. As we look at Brian Doyle, Catfish Hunter will start tomorrow night against Bert Hooton and Ron Guidry.
No, they don't. They can get the runs when they have to. They may even score some more today.
Look at that. That's pretty good. They're trailing by 7. Let's pause briefly for our station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Dick Tidrow is the new pitcher for the Yankees. How many times have you been on a ball club where a guy says, hey, if we're going to get beat, let's get beat by 7. At least you go home, eat, and sleep.
Well, I think Tony's remark earlier, Joe, was well taken, that this Yankee club has a lot of experience. These guys started last February in spring training. They played 162 games and playoff games, etc. A blowout game like this, 10-3, is going to happen. You know, and tomorrow, 5:30 out here, going to start this game. It's going to be 0-0 in the first inning.
So Steve Yeager with the count of strike 1. Dick Tidrow, the new pitcher. Yeager chases a curveball. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, and Kurt Gowdy. First game of the 1978 World Series, and the Dodgers with 13 base hits. 2 home runs by Lopes and a home run by Baker. Lead 10-3. Left field. Roy White has plenty of room. Makes the play, and Lee Lacy heads back to first.
Tidrow, one of those guys who's had to serve kind of a multi-purpose role. He did last year, did so well. This year, not quite as well as a pitcher. Starting rotation at times. Short reliever, long reliever. Must be tough, Tom, for a pitcher to try and get his thoughts together when you're used in so many different ways. He's got a good sinker ball, a slider. He'll come from the side to right-handed hitters at times. He'll scare some out off the plate.
Well, it's a very special talent to be able to work out of that bullpen and then all of a sudden start a few games for a ball club. But it's a great asset for a manager to have, a guy that can do both jobs for you. And he has been a very valuable asset during the season for the Yankees.
Lacy back easily.
We're talking about the psychological aspects of this, getting blown out of the game. The one thing that might make a difference for the Yankees, if they got a threat going at the top of the 7th inning, they bounce back. Reggie gets a home run. They get 2 runs, unearned runs. They had 3 runs in the inning, and they're 7-3, and they still have 6 outs to go in the game. The Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 7th inning, and boom, 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 they've got 3 runs right back on them. That, even more than getting blown out of the game, can take more wind out of your sails than anything else.
I tell you, when you get nailed with that eraser, it stings, and that's what the Dodgers did. They just erased those 3 runs. Lopes had a good cut at that. You'll be watching most of your stations will be seeing the Tonight Show a half hour after the game, following the local news. So be sure to stay tuned, except in the West Coast. Nettles. And the force is on. That ends the 7th inning. So at the end of 7 complete innings, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers 10 and the Yankees 3. It'll be Roy White for the Yankees, Thurman Munson, and Reggie Jackson. A good shot of this Dodger Stadium crowd, 55,997, and I'm sure they'll all be back tomorrow night for Game 2. It'll be Hunter against Hooten. We've got a new center fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and a pinch hitter for Rick Monday, and Billy North remains in the game, and there you see him. This crowd really enjoying it, and this is a different kind of crowd. You're always looking in the stands for the celebrities. Tony Tennille sang the national anthem. We saw Cary Grant. Lasorda's got a Sinatra wall. He's always seated here. Rickles is an honorary coach, and we saw Ron Howard, one of my favorites. He was seated with NBC Entertainment President Mike Weinblatt, and Ronnie steps behind the cameras for NBC when he presents the world premiere of Cotton Candy. That's going to be Thursday night, October 26th from 8 to 10. Ronnie Howard, as we look at Tom Lasorda and Happy Hooten. Happy has been described as always being happy inside, but his face doesn't know it.
I think Lasorda proved a lot this year with his ball club because they had a rash of injuries early. Dodger organization, 26 years, he's done everything, including selling peanuts at the ballpark. I think he's scouted, he's managed a lot of these kids in the minor leagues who are no longer kids. They were then.
And Tony, he's helped that attendance tonight of 55,000. All the Lasorda brothers came in from Norristown. I think the whole family's here except Mama, who's home watching it. Foul ball. Tommy, he's a piece of work in those press conferences. They asked him about an attendance clause. He said, I got one. I got to show up every day. Tommy John. There's a base hit. He got the ball up again. Tom, what do you do when you get the ball up? Does Bench come out, and what is he? Does he ride you, or what can you do to make a pitcher get the ball down?
Well, you always try to, the catcher is continually trying to remind a pitcher in certain situations that get the ball down. Now, the first 2 pitches to Roy White, very good, even out of the strike zone. And now he's got him 0-2. He's way ahead of him. He's got no reason to do anything to throw the ball in the strike zone. It should be down in the dirt. He throws it right up out over the plate. That's just a mistake.
Is he not following through? Is he overstriding?
No. He might be getting a little bit tired. A little tired. His mechanics look fine to me. He just made a bad pitch.
Of course, Tommy John's a little different than you. You throw fastballs up, you can throw the ball by a guy.
On certain days. That's the kind of pitch he should have made right there. 0-2, down out of the strike zone.
Ball 1 on Thurman Munson. Munson hitting with double play, struck out and bounced out. This could be a double play. Russell, that was not a good throw. And that's, I think, where he lost it. But they were going to make sure this time. Brings up Reggie Jackson, and on a 3-1 pitch, he put a charge into 1, hit it deep to right field, and then he stayed there for 5 minutes to watch it and took a half hour to run the bases. It was some shot. We've got it, and here it comes. Watch when he hits the ball what he does.
He does this as well as Harmon Killebrew. He knew it was gone. Harmon's one of the first I ever saw do it. And look where it goes. Way over the bullpen. It's hard to put a measurement on how far that went, but I've got to guess 430 feet or so.
Oh, he is a strong man.
He certainly is.
I tell you, he's some kind of player to watch. Fastball inside. He's exciting. He's just exciting. He's hit 6 home runs in his last 4 series games, including tonight, which is a new series record. One ball. He was going for another one.
Oh, He swings as hard as anybody I've ever seen swing a bat.
Listen to that crowd react. That's what it's all about.
You don't think he's going for a single there, do you?
Oh, he was going to try to hit over everything. The record, the former record, was 5 in 4 consecutive games by Lou Gehrig in 1928 and 1932. Is now held by Reggie Jackson, who has hit 6 home runs in his last 4 series games. He hits this off the handle, but he sneaks it through for a base hit. And we're going to have base runners at first and third. Munson hits for third. Jackson is on at first. And he's got himself another base hit.
Reggie just overpowered this ball. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Yeah, maybe not quite down as much as Tommy John wanted it. He didn't hit it well, but those strong hitters like Jackson get the overspin on the ball, and as an infielder, sometimes you think you're going to get it, and it hits the dirt and does just that, scoots right by you.
This very hard infield, Tony. It will. The ball will hit that hard dirt, that red clay, and really accelerate and go into that outfield. I thought Steve Garvey might be playing a little bit close to the bag on that situation with a big 7-run lead. He could have been back a little bit farther, I think.
Here is Lou Piniella. Piniella singled his last time up. Hits one back to Tommy John. This time he goes to Russell. A strike, 1 out. Low throw. It's in the dugout. It'll be an error on Russell. Munson scores as Jackson scores, and Piniella will go to second base.
Russell really came from down under. He didn't have to come. He had plenty of time. He looks almost as though he's got a little bit of a sore arm because he threw a ball right at him earlier in the ballgame that barely got to Garvey. Now he's got plenty of time. What does he do? He low bridges the runner coming in when he didn't have to, and he threw wildly. He'll be charged with an error. Here's Reggie, a good base runner. He doesn't even slide. He almost gets it right between the eyes. That may have really disrupted Russell. They tell you to throw right at the head. The guy's got to get out of the way. Russell might have been too kind to him.
Jackson, 3 base hits, taking players out. He's trying to shake this ball club up and get it going. They trail by 6, 10-4. And Greg Nettles has bounced out twice to Garvey and was out on strikes. Piniella's at second base. There's a base hit right field. Piniella's going to try to score. Smith is up with it and will not throw to the plate. And it's 10-5. Nettles drives in the run, and here comes Lasorda out of the Dodger dugout. He may be coming out to get some help for Tommy John. Tommy Lasorda, Dodger manager.
He's the guy who did the hugging and had the great rapport on this ball club last year, and some people said it'll never last. But I think he proved to a lot of people this year, in fact, Sparky Anderson told me that Tommy Lasorda does know how to manage. And there's been that feud or a little bit of a rivalry between Lasorda and Anderson, I think more in a kidding way than anything else. But he has shown that he can make the moves when he has to. Before the game, Lasorda had Don Zimmer in his office. The first question he asked Donnie Zimmer was, how do you manage? There's Terry Forster, Dodger bullpen. Lasorda asked Zimmer, how do you manage with the DH? He said, I've never done it before.
We're taking a look at Bob Lemon. His club has come back 10-5. And you got to wonder how he is feeling right now. He's kind of in that state of limbo. His club is coming back, but there's still 5 runs down, and now a hard-throwing left-hander is coming in who's been able to nail it down.
So John will lead. Lasorda really going a long way with Tommy John. You don't score too often 5 runs against Tommy John. But with that big lead, Lasorda stuck with him a little bit longer.
Tommy John is going to be a free agent, Tony, too, and he will. Lasorda will stay with Tommy John longer than any other of his starters.
Why?
I think he's got to go more confidence in him, Joe. I think he's a gamer. You know, he's done so much for him in the last couple of years. He'll have a tendency to. And Tommy is a real aggressive pitcher. And you know, the fans here love him. You can tell by the hand that he's getting as he's walking off the field. But he's a very aggressive, great competitor. And I think Tommy Lasorda senses that, knows it, and he'll stick with that pitcher, Tommy John, longer than any other of the starters.
You know, they've described that injury to Tommy John, but I think he himself says it best. I've said it before, but it's like a kink in that garden hose, and you lose the force at the nozzle.
He didn't pitch at all in 1975, but he kept his body in shape.
Forster to Chambliss, good fastball, and this guy can just play good old country hardball.
Terry Forster, of course, a left-hander and the big guy for the Dodgers out of the bullpen. He is big, strong, and he's like a bull. He's got a good tailing fastball and a very good slider. Same type of slider that Ron Guidry would have for the Yankees. Real hard, real tough. You get a lot of strikeouts on right-handers with that slider that'll go down and into him.
Had 22 saves for the Dodgers. He and Goose Gossage on the other side of the field and Bucky Dent were roommates.
That's off the handle. That could be trouble. Russell chases it. He can't find it. It drops for a base hit. So the Yankees with Nettles at second base now, and Chambliss is on with the single.
Dodgers really have not played good defensive baseball. They haven't played well in their inner defense. Lopes and Russell, as he gets turned around, loses it, turned the wrong way. When he picked it up, he couldn't recover to get it. But the two men in the inner defense, Lopes and Russell, made 50 errors or 51 errors between them. A lot of that attributable to this infield. But that one there had nothing to do with the infield. He just turned the wrong way.
We've got Cliff Johnson coming up as a pinch hitter, and this guy has one thing in mind when he leaves that dugout, and that's to swing that bat and swing it as hard as he can possibly swing it. It's a fastball hitter against a fastball pitcher. 2 outs, 10-5. Dodgers are out in front. We've got this ball game started out like two fat heavyweights going at it, and now it's turned out to where it's getting just a little bit touchy for the Dodgers. Johnson puts a charge in one. We've got ourselves a close ball game. Cliff Johnson, fastball hitter. Forster, fastball pitcher. Strike.
I think, Joe, that the Yankees have answered our question about whether they're emotionally drained. They get a base hit here, or if they get a home run from Cliff Johnson right here, boom, it's 10-8, and they are right back in this ball game. And all of a sudden, that psychological edge that is so important in a ball game might swing right back over to their dugout.
I think it would. I really do, because that'll make the Dodgers hope players. Johnson, there's a quick throw to second. Lopes was there and made a good play.
That looked like it might have been a play that was called by Steve Yeager, because Lopes started breaking almost before the ball got by Cliff Johnson. Throws behind him, show you the strength again of Yeager's arm, and a pretty good play by Davey to keep the ball from going into center field.
2 quick strikes on Johnson. It'll be interesting to see where he goes with this pitch. Low.
Slider down and in. He wants to strike the man out.
Lasorda, a few frowns now. Lemon, you can't tell whether he's winning or losing. He just watches the game and loads the wagon. I meant by a hope player, if they get close, you hope they hit it, you hope your guy catches it, you hope he gets it over, and you just hope yourself right into a loss.
It's not a very good aggressive way to play. I mean,
right.
you know, as a pitcher especially, you sit out there and you, well, I hope he hits it at somebody. It's no good. You can't play that way.
You don't win. You can play that way, but you don't win. Foul ball. He had a good cut of a tough pitch.
Should this Dodger lead hold up? And we don't know at this point, but the way they've played has got to have an effect on them. Game 2, which is tomorrow night, because they have not played solid defensive baseball as we look at Lem again. A Hall of Famer.
Tony, this is the kind of victory. You take victories any way they come, but it's not exactly one that you would put on a cassette and play for the Little League. Johnson takes a lot of time. He's only going to bat once, but he's going to get his airtime. Old Cliff is.
We were talking about Tommy John and the elbow problem. Forster, throughout his career, has had trouble with his elbow because he throws that hard slider. There's been many times this year and last year where they've said, just don't throw the slider. Only number 1, fastball.
That's tough to do that. We don't want you to throw that slider, son. And you've been getting people out with it for about 12 or 15 years.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Psychological warfare going on here. Cliff came over from the Houston Astros. There's Nettles at second base. Chris Chambliss at first. This could be a very pivotal point of this ball game, depending on what happens there.
struck him out. Forrester, a good hard slider, gets his man, ends the inning. So we go into the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers 10, the Yankees 5. And coming up for the Dodgers, Bill Russell, Reggie Smith, and Steve Garvey. As we look at Tom Lasorda. Tell you, the fans they're just beautiful. We just saw this one as we look at Brian Doyle, who's gone in to play second base for the Yankees during the championship series. Remember that guy had his hair painted orange, blue? Is he here?
Yeah, he was down in front of us.
Oh,
there he is, standing right down there behind home plate. You get it.
Yeah. He's right behind home plate, got his hair painted.
A little farther, guys.
There's the mayor.
That's the mayor.
Bradley. His wife is a tremendous fan. They got some good news from the Olympic Committee. He's behind. He doesn't look too happy, and his club is leading by 5. This guy with the orange and red hair, whatever, looks like a peacock got caught in a hurricane. Tidrow throws a good curveball into strike. Tomorrow night, Catfish Hunter against Bert Hoot in Game 2. We'll be here, and we'll be looking for you. Down the right field line, a fair ball. It'll be extra bases for Russell. It is touched by a fan, so it'll be two-base hit.
That son of a gun can hit right there. You can see he hit a pitch away after Tidrow sidearmed him a little bit. It might have been up, but he still went with the ball. He uses the whole part of the diamond. It's no longer a ground rule double. It's really in the judgment of the umpire whether or not he could make it. This time, the right field foul line umpire, Joe Brinkman, the American League, says, he would have had a double.
So here is Reggie Smith. Smith flied to right, struck out, bounced out to the first baseman, and lined to center. He takes it high. Ball 1. Munson asked about that. They were really interviewing Reggie Smith about the battle of the Reggies. And I thought Reggie Smith really handled it well. There were two different players. It was just he fouls one back. Went down. Said Reggie Jackson's got more power than me. I think I'm a better defensive outfielder as we look at Steve Garvey. Says I have a better arm than Reggie Jackson. And they said controversy. See, we're about even. Curveball inside. Garvey on the on-deck circle, as you saw as Russell heads back to second, swings down. He kind of has a grip like a golfer where he's got the top hand, 3 fingers, and down he goes, chops down and everything. Curveball high. 3 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Man on second is Bill Russell. The score is 10-5. The Dodgers over the Yankees. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Out of play.
Tom, did you think before this series started that this would be a pitcher's series? I got the impression it probably would be, although both teams came into this series out of September swinging the bats very well. Each team in their league were on the top of the league in earned run average, National American League, of course, and you're playing in a big ballpark, and we'll get another big ballpark in Yankee Stadium. But they're really mashing the ball around today.
I thought the pitchers would be much more dominant than they have in the first inning here, Tony. There's no question about that.
Foul straight back. Well, I tell you, when you look at statistics, the Dodgers had a 3.12, guys, and that was first in the league. The Yankees at 3.18, and that was first in the league. So that kind of bears out what you said.
The ball at nighttime in this ballpark, they say, does not carry as well as during the daytime. And I know you'll disagree because you're a pitcher, but it sure is carrying today.
There's a base hit to right field. Russell is rounding second, and he'll score. It's 11-5. Reggie Smith drives in the run.
That guy doesn't get enough credit for how good he is, Bill Russell, because he's always unfairly compared to Concepcion and Bourne. A former outfielder, yes, he is erratic, but he does cover a lot of ground, and he is as good an offensive player, maybe better than Bourne and Concepcion, but you can kind of take your pick among those 3.
Steve Garvey. Garvey has 1 hit. He has scored a run. inside. Munson, a nice play. That's the most runs ever scored in a series game against the Yankees. Or the most runs is 13. 3 times. It's not the most runs, so you need a couple more there. Good shot at Garvey. Look at that stance. Curveball. Saturday, Jack Cole, the playboy, turned crime fighter, is smack in the middle of a battle between the syndicate and the Chinese youth gang. That's on Sword of Justice on Saturday. Foul back.
Ooh. A nice pitch to hit, didn't he? Garvey, one of the few. I mean, really, he's more of a line drive hitter than a man who lofts the ball in the air. Well, last year he had 30 home runs. Very few hitters like him use that bottle bat. He had a bad hand at one time in college, his left hand, and the regular knob bothered it, so he went to that kind of handle. Grip.
Didn't mean to swing and fouls it off in the upper deck.
One thing that makes him so effective, Tony, he'll use all the field. He'll go with the pitch. He'll hit the ball to right center. He's got good power to right center.
How'd you pitch him?
Sometimes not very well, Joe.
Well, how'd you try to pitch him?
I try to pitch him hard stuff inside. Keep the breaking ball down. Keep the ball away from him. That pitch right there, you get it on the plate, he'll take it right in that hole between first base and the second baseman.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
When you think you've made the good pitch on Garvey high and inside, he has the knack of either fouling it off and fouling it off till you come out over the plate or get the ball down where he likes it, or he'll hit one of those little bleeding quails that he did just earlier in the ball game in left field.
Here's a throw to second, and it's a double play. Strike him out, throw him out. They were running 11-5 score, but Smith broke Garvey out on strikes, and Munson gets him.
This will tell you that the Dodgers know that this is not a safe enough lead, that they should stop throwing. And once again, they're still trying to find out, maybe with this play right here, Munson's arm. It was not a good throw from Thurman. He got rid of it, but it was a sinker that he threw. He can get rid of the ball. Here's Reggie. Reggie not as fast as he was a couple of years ago. He's had some leg problems. One time he was the guy who would steal you 30 bases.
Ron Cey, strike 1. Cey. Curveball hangs inside. Cey had a base hit in that 5th inning. Lopes 2 home runs. Russell has 3 base hits. Smith has 1. Garvey has 2. Cey has 1. Baker has 3. Monday had 1. North has 1. Lacey a base hit. Yeager, the only guy that's got the collar so far. High fly ball center field. Paul Blair should make the play easily. He does. That ends the inning, so at the end of 8 complete innings, the Dodgers 11, the Yankees 5. 11 runs, 15 hits and 2 errors, 5 runs, 9 hits and 1 error for the Yankees as we look at Tom Lasorda as his team goes out for this top of the 9th.
It's been a game, Tom, that not quite what we expected. We talked about the pitching, which we thought was going to be dominant. These 2 ball clubs have had a lot of World Series experience going back to last year. Both veteran ball clubs, both well managed. You can't forget Billy Martin's part as you look at the Yankee ball club as they came into this, because before they started on that stretch drive and the playoff game up in Fenway, they were on a 5-game winning streak with Billy Martin, so they'd already cut about 3.5 or 4 games off the Red Sox lead. The man you see way on the right of your screen, our resident genius, Alan Roth. Smile for us, Alan. He's the one that feeds us all those little bright tidbits. It's Joe Garagiola, Tom Seaver, myself. Kurt Gowdy's down on the field somewhere, mingling with the celebrities.
Bucky Dent. It'll be Dent, Blair, and White, the scheduled hitters. Bucky, 1 for 3. A big 2-run single. That was in the 7th inning. Is up to now the count of ball 1 and strike 1.
You talked about earlier, Tony, about Forster having a history of arm trouble. If you watch his front leg, it's very stiff as he makes a delivery of his pitches, and that's, a lot of people won't understand it, but that's what will cause a lot of sore arms, a lot of sore elbows. As he goes out and strides out, with his right foot. He plants it, locks his knee, and pitches off a very stiff front leg.
I can recall a pamphlet on pitching techniques. I think you had a big part in doing it, and it talked about the lower body and how you take the strain off your arm.
Well, I've always been very big on that, Tony. I've been very fortunate in 12 years of never having a sore arm, and I think understanding the mechanics of it mechanics of pitching has been extremely important.
So there's one out. Russell gets Dent, and it brings up Paul Blair.
The two men that did the scouting of the Yankees for the Dodgers were Charlie Metro and Ed Libertor, and they had I felt an interesting way, a concept of scouting the Yankee ball club. Charlie Metro called it instant scouting. I said, what do you mean? He said, what we did was we went up to Fenway Park, and when Boston played the Yankees back in New York, and I concentrated for 2 whole series only on the center fielder, Freddie Lynn. We figured he's a good center fielder. There's Reggie on the bench next to Clyde King to his right. But all I watched for the 2 series was Lynn. We found out on every hitter and with every pitcher and pitch was thrown where he played the Yankee hitters. And he said, that's how we did our scouting in the outfield. So then we went to Burleson, and that's how we got our lineup defensively in the infield, by watching Burleson. That was Ed Libertor's job. It was really a good shortcut, I thought, and a good idea. We didn't have to chart every single pitch over a long period of time.
Blair is out on strike, so they're 1 out away. Tomorrow night, Catfish Hunter against Bert Hooton, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And following our game, local news. You'll see the Tonight Show, most of the stations, except on the West Coast.
Monty Basgall, the man with the walkie-talkie. Another interesting thing, the Yankees use the walkie-talkies for defense, but the Dodgers have a walkie-talkie that they're trying to pick up some signals and some talk over the walkie-talkies, I was told by Charlie Metro. They're going to try and jam.
This game is getting too complicated. I still like Willie Mays' description as we look at Bob Lemon. When the other guy throws it, I hit it. When the other guy hits it, I catch it. That's baseball. 2 outs. It's a strike. These Dodger fans, they're ready for the kill. Their club leading 11-5. We're in the 9th. They'll go in tomorrow leading by 1. Hunter against Hooton.
24 hits in this ball game.
Foul ball.
Forster is really firing the ball. He's got a real live fastball and a deadly slider. Tommy Lasorda, he looks awfully happy down there. He knows he's 1 strike away from winning game number 1 of this World Series.
The Yankees will show up again tomorrow night. You can bet on that.
Listen to the crowd. They'll tell you what happens.
Watch this. It's going to be a slider down and in.
That's good.
Down and away.
So Terry Forster, if he can throw 1 strike by Roy White, it'll be the 3rd out in this first ball game. 75th anniversary of World Series play. And here comes Forster's pitch to White. Called foul, Ron Say. Forster, as we mentioned earlier, was a roommate in the minor leagues for the old Appleton Foxes with Gossage and Dent. They had 1 bed. They used to take the mattress off at night, and 2 would sleep on the floor. 1 would sleep on the bed, and Terry said he is very mad at those 2 because they still owe him rent money. He was a bonus player. They owe him rent money and long-distance phone call money. He's going to get it back this World Series. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The fans start hooting again. He got it.
A strikeout. The ball game is over, and look at those Dodger players come out of that dugout as the Dodgers win game number 1 by Lasorda. An 11-5 victory, and Tony and Tom, I think that says it all right there.
Well, we expected pitching. We got a lot of hitting. 16 runs, 11 for the Dodgers, 24 base hits. Not a well-played ball game defensively by the Dodgers, but they'll take that first victory, an all-important one.
So there it is, 11-5.